This is going to be the big night, huh?
It sure is. Tons of new talent, current top stars, and legends of the business all under one roof. In the same ring, working for the same promotion. It's really special.
Yeah, I'm not sure something like this has ever been done before. We need to make sure we do it right. We need to make this card real respectable like.
Exactly. It's all about respect.
Yes, it's all about respect for wrestling and its legends. So then, how much time should we spend on making non-wrestlers look better than wrestlers?
I don't know. I kind of feel like 10 minutes is not enough.
Okay, 15 it is. And how much time should we spend on referencing genitalia?
I want to say 10 again, but let's go with 15 and hope we run short.
Probably won't happen, but good. A nice, respectable 15 minutes. This is a great show.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
I still feel like this show is missing something.
Really? We have wrestlers of the past, present, and future. Race relations, midget wrestlers, actual TNA, meaning tits and ass. What else could you need?
What if we had a character that was a grossly exaggerated stereotype of our base audience?
Of course! If that doesn't make them love us, nothing will.
Wow, we did it! We finally made a wrestling card that is total nonstop action.
Why would you make this?
Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for listening. This is Why Would You Make This? Season 3, The Asylum Years. This is the only podcast to bring you joy today by reminding you how bad the past was when we ask the question, why would you make this? The modifier is very important.
I like the title of this season because it's very fitting for where we are in the world right now.
Don't talk about that. Don't talk about that.
okay.
Nobody knows about that. Nobody talks about that. I am Jimmy Time. That voice you heard was my co-host for the season, Skylar. What's going on?
Hey, I'm doing as good as I can do after watching TNA.
Right. Yes. True. Okay, so during season 3, we will be taking you through National Wrestling Alliance Total Nonstop Action weekly pay-per-view shows, which are now known as the Asylum Years. We will be starting with NWA TNA pay-per-view number 1, which debuted June 19th, 2002. From the Van Braun Center, now known as the Van Braun Civic Center, in Huntsville, Alabama, drawing 3,000 people with a live attendance and doing an estimated average of 16.5 thousand pay-per-views at home, which was considerably less than the 55,000 buys they needed to break even on their first show.
Ooh.
Yeah. The at-home price was $10, which means they were just about, $385,000 short of what they needed. So, in case you think for 1 second you know what a business is, no, you don't.
Nope.
You can start $400,000 in the hole.
Didn't they have like 100 pay-per-views they kept going?
Something
How
like
did
that, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And then they just, I guess, I don't know, they just kept banking on...
First of all, who's Van Braun? And why does he have a civic center?
Look, this is not that type of a history.
I would like to
show.
know, though.
All right,
what kind of Alabama man?
You should have looked that up then.
Damn it.
Maybe it's a president.
Maybe he's a hunter. He's from Huntsville. I don't know.
All right, that's enough. Let's move on. I feel like this show is going to be a very long one, so there's none of the stuff from the old episodes, no Truth Hour, no Lost in Translation, nothing. We're going just right into the best hour, our favorite hour.
It is our favorite hour.
The Troy McClure Hour. Oh, hello, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such mistaken attempts at finding a common ground as... Why don't you just stop feeling that way? An elaboration on female emotions. Or, Drink It Up, You Red-Faced Goon, An American's Guide to Native Relations. Today, we're here to witness an evening of respect. All right, so this is a long one because who are the faces of TNA tonight? Well, tonight,
just tonight?
Just tonight, yeah. I figured each show I talk about who the main event is, but considering tonight we have to talk about everybody, so I'm going to include the faces of TNA, starting off with the ring announcer, the voice of TNA, Jeremy Borash.
Generally, to me, a nobody. I had no idea who he was. Wasn't he
At
in
the time?
WCW?
Yeah, a former WCW Nitro and WCW Thunder head writer, and at the time of this, in the year 2002, he was currently a WWA booker and head of talent.
WWA?
What is the WWA, you ask?
Yes, I did, kind of.
World Wrestling All-Stars is a failed attempt at a second major promotion when WCW and ECW were bought together by the WWF, leaving only one major promotion in the world, which was WWF.
That explains the year in between WCW and this. Yeah. I knew it was way too long. Someone had to try to do something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was, I didn't write his name down, but it was headed by an Australian touring promoter who was head, and Jeremy Borash. They were pretty much the mainstay of it.
Okay.
Next is commentator Don West, the host of a sports memorabilia show, Sports Collectibles, on the Shop at Home network in 1991, was fired for his scrabbly voice, despite the fact that he had a brother who was the CFO of the Shop at Home network. He eventually was rehired in 93 and stuck around until 2001, where he got to his own sports talk show on WNSR, and this comes after he turned down Vince Russo's offer to work for WCW.
Oh, so they tried to get him once before.
Like right in the year 2001.
Is he a wrestler? So he was like, no, wrestling? No.
Yeah, he decided instead to go for the sure thing of the Shop at Home network and a sports talk radio show.
Sure thing.
Yeah. Next is commentator Ed Ferrara. Between the years of 1994 and 1996, Ed Ferrara trained and wrestled in California independent-based promotion SWF Slammers Wrestling Federation under the name Bruce Bodine.
Can I challenge that fact?
I looked it up.
No, I still want to challenge it. He trained and wrestled?
Yeah.
Ed Ferrara? No.
Yeah.
No.
And in 1996, won the SWF Heavyweight Championship.
You know, Bears used to wrestle. They didn't have to train them.
Did they win any titles, though?
Like physical titles? Like they've won the title of being a killer, but I don't know if they've won an actual...
Moving on. While working as a writer of the USA Network for the show Weird Science...
What?
Executives found out that he was working wrestling shows on the weekend and set up a meeting with him with Vince McMahon.
For him?
Yeah, for him with Vince McMahon, yeah. He met the requirements and was hired in 1998 for a writer on King of the Ring. And he immediately clicked with his partner, Vince Russo, and the two of them eventually, way down the line, jumped ship to WCW, and the rest is awful history.
So wait, he was working on its own show, Weird Science,
yeah.
And then the people at USA were, I guess, talking to him, or maybe just through the grapevine was like, oh, he likes wrestling? You know, we have this other show that also does wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You two would like each other.
Right.
You should talk.
Yeah. And if you think that's not weird enough, before he did all this, before Weird Science, he created the show Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
That was a show?
Well, it was a movie, and then somebody has to go out of their way to be like, you know, this can be a show. Look, I'll show you and write it up. And he did that.
The easy way. The easy way.
I mean, I'm not writing shows, but whatever. Finally, last commentator, 3 commentators on the show, Mike Tenay, being the host of a radio sports talk show, Wrestling Insiders, led to the work of WCW Hotline, as well as other radio broadcasts for WCW, which in turn led to on-air commentary, specifically when he hosted the co-promoted AAA event in November of 1994, when every other broadcaster for WCW declined to work.
Yeah, today we'll take any work.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was like on location, probably 94, so I guess nobody wanted to go to Mexico. That would be my guess.
It's 94.
In 94, on location, so we were like, no, I'm not going there. All right, now the actual main event, as far as I'm concerned, Jeff Jarrett.
It's his world.
Son of wrestling genius and legendary Territory Days wrestling promoter, Jerry Jarrett.
I have only heard of Jerry Jarrett as the father of Jeff Jarrett. I have no idea who he is.
He's a pretty, apparently smart. Jeff Jarrett made his debut in April 1996 for his father's promotion of CWA, Continental Wrestling Association, when a wrestler with a losing streak challenged referee Jarrett to a match. They went on to a 10-minute draw.
What?
Yeah.
What a terrible wrestler.
I know.
He went on a 10-minute draw with a ref.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. He also wrestled in Southern promotions like the AWA, the CWF, the WCCW, and the USWA. and touring internationally in the 90s in places like Japan and Mexico. He was hired by the WWF in 1992, where he became double famous. Finally, Jackie Fargo, wrestling since the 50s. He is an NWA tag team wrestler, start to finish, winning the tag team titles, the NWA tag team titles, 45 times.
How are these the faces of the show?
Right now,
How are these the
they get
faces
the
of
most
show?
airtime on this show.
Oh
this
my
is not
God.
a joke.
Jackie Fargo.
Yeah. You can see the full cast and crew at imdb.com, surprisingly.
Yeah, believe it or not.
Well,
it's there.
no, actually, I should probably take that back. You can see the full cast. They don't list a crew outside of, like, writer.
Booker.
So just in case you don't know, while we're talking history, let's go all the way back and explain why we're here right now. In April of 2000,
2000. Oh my.
head booker for WCW, Vince Russo, and former executive president of WCW, now only on-air talent, Eric Bischoff, rebooted WCW storylines and statistical standings, whatever those were, stripping Jarrett of the WCW title as well as all the champions, which he then regained 16 days later and lost 7 days after that. And then David Arquette won it from him the next night. And then he won it back from him 12 days later. Better than what we had, apparently. On that same night, all storylines were stopped. Russo and Bischoff started a new stable called the New Blood, filled with younger talent, a.k.a. guys who have been in the business for 15 plus years, to fight the Millionaires Club, a.k.a. guys who have been in the business for 30 plus years. Jarrett feuded with various members of the Millionaires Club, leading to Hulk Hogan, which ended with the infamous Jarrett literally laying down for Hogan and Hogan walking out of WCW forever. After that, Jarrett floated around from feud to feud until 2001, when he joined Scott Steiner to form the Magnificent Seven, which consisted of Ric Flair, Scott and Rick Steiner, Lex Luger, Buff Bagwell, and Road Warrior Animal. However, if you don't remember this, that's because this was the infamous Sid breaks his leg off the top rope incident, where the run-in did not matter because a man was very broken in the middle of the ring.
To pieces.
And that was in January of 2001. WCW was purchased in March of 2001, leaving a lot of people who had very poor relations with the WWF owner, Vince McMahon, out of job.
And most of them just had that Time Warner contract, so they just didn't want to work.
They didn't want to work. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And the people who didn't have that type of a contract were in a poor position, like Bob Ryder, a former contributor to the Dirt Sheets, aka wrestling tabloid websites, was working for WCW as a, quote, glorified chat room moderator, end quote, for WCW Live, along with Jeremy Borash and other WCW.com things. There's a segment on Nitro in, I forget what year, 2000, 2001, where Tank Abbott comes out and beats up the people from WCW Live promoting, like, next to the commentary, and it is Bob Ryder and Jeremy Borash.
Oh,
so you can see them, yeah.
I see his face.
Also, Jerry Jarrett, the former CWA and USWA owner and multiple-time NWA Tag Team Champion, again, father of Jeff Jarrett, was working as a consultant for both the WCW and the WWF, and had a proposal to bring WCW back to its profitable state, but TV deals were canceled, and the WWE bought it out. So he's out. Shortly after that happened, Bob Ryder, Jeff Jarrett, and Jerry Jarrett all went on a fishing trip contemplating what they were going to do in the wrestling business now that they had little options, coming to the conclusion that the Monday Night Wars left TV executives sour to the idea of wrestling on TV, and they needed a different format. Pre-current video streaming internet era, the next best option was pay-per-view, aka the video rental store at home, aka Netflix beta.
It's a horrible way to put it.
Okay, was that?
It's accurate.
Yeah.
But...
All right, just a little more. While the details were worked out, Jeff Jarrett joined the WWA on its debut show in October of 2001, losing the title match to Road Dogg, but the belts were immediately vacated for an upcoming tour they were about to do.
Why do I feel like I remember this?
You shouldn't, but you might.
Well, there was nothing going on but WWF at the time.
So you probably, yeah.
So I was like trying to find anything.
Yeah. The belts were vacated for an upcoming tour they were going to do because they did not have a TV deal. So they just did like town to town tours doing the same show and then would do a pay-per-view at the end of it.
Oh, okay.
It was like a touring play almost.
Yeah. That's almost what they do now, kind of. The WWE. With house shows.
Sorta, yeah. Yeah, so titles were vacated, and then Jeff Jarrett won the title during that tour, and he was the champion. and he held on to it, feuding with other former WCW wrestlers that the WWF was not interested in at all, mostly due to bad relations. And he left April of 2002, which was about the time that the Jarretts finally found their financial backing. And in June of 2002, Jeff Jarrett and his father created the limited liability company J Sports and Entertainment and opened the new wrestling promotion, Total Nonstop Action. Yes. 19 days before this show, they created the company.
June, that's when the show happens. Yeah. You didn't waste any time.
Okay, let's start the show.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dark matches, apparently.
Oh, that's before the song.
We get dark matches first. The thing is, though, the dark matches are Apollo over David Young and Cheeks over Frank Parker, but these matches appear on the next show.
Oh.
So I don't know if they let these guys wrestle twice or if they use this as a dark show match and then we're like, all right, we'll toss those in.
Okay, yeah, we like those matches. Now you guys can wrestle in the next show.
The thing is, though, the 450-pound Cheeks hit the ropes too hard, and I get conflicting reports here, either broke one of the ropes, broke all of the ropes, or one of those two, as well as breaking another part of the ring.
Oh, and maybe the metal spider underneath, whatever, the turnbuckle underneath.
Probably would, I would guess.
Oh, yeah.
Probably would.
Just from running the ropes?
Yeah, or it could be the spider, too. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, from running the ropes, which allegedly caused them to rearrange the card, putting the Legends segment first.
Oh, that explains that.
Which I believe that part at least, because when the show starts off and they go for the wide shot of the pyro, you can see the ropes shaking, and then you can, if you pay attention, you can see them moving the turnbuckles and like in the motion. And then after the pyros, you can see clearly one of the Harris brothers, like just swinging his arm, going, go, get up the ramp, like doing the ring crew. Like,
as soon as the show starts, you see a bunch of people running from the ring, and even during the Legends segment, you'll get up to, you see as the camera pans, like about 8 people rushing away from the ring.
They were still doing it, yeah. And I presume that's why it went Legends segment, backstage segment, because they needed a few extra minutes to be like, we gotta fix the ring again. Hurry up.
We have that doesn't involve the ring.
Okay, so the show opens.
Yeah.
Old-timey music with black and white wrestling footage explodes into the TNA logo. Electric jizz-style promos, followed by actual fireworks, followed by very lackluster smoke machines. At the entrance ramp, Don West is introduced, and he says, "Get ready for some total nonstop action!" And he introduces one of his cohorts, Ed Ferrara. Ed Ferrara comes out and he says, "I'm all about that TNA," but not necessarily what you're thinking about, my friends.
All right, Don West comes out. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what to expect. He was a little out there. He had a Hawaiian shirt. Whatever, I got past it.
Absolutely.
Then he introduces Ed Ferrara. My brain has a little tickle in the back. I'm like, oh, Ed Ferrara, I know that name. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I remember him in WCW.
Ed Ferrara, Vince Russo, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was Oklahoma. So I had a picture in my head. The man comes out. That wasn't Ed Ferrara.
No.
It was like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, something. I don't know what it was.
Oh, he 100% looks like John Travolta's character from, what is it, Battlefield Earth?
Yes.
Is that it?
Battlefield Earth? Yes.
Is that it?
The dreads and or
that,
whatever it was. Braids? I don't know what it was.
I don't know. Well, yeah, whatever it was supposed to be in the film, I forget.
Yeah, he had like a predator head with fake hair extensions, and you can obviously see where it starts and begins.
Oh my dude. I had the original VHS footage.
Okay, yeah.
In 480p, and I could still tell where those dreads started and stopped. Yep. Like, it was so obvious.
He's wearing, like, Chris Rock's leather suit that looks like it would be big on Rikishi.
Right.
It is way too big for him. And he was apparently wearing a fuzzy shirt under there, which I didn't even know till later.
Yeah.
That's not Ed Ferrara. I don't know what he was going for.
I know. So Ed Ferrara throws to his other cohort, the Professor of Vanilla, Mike Tenay.
Are they just secretly burying him always?
Yeah, dude.
Just calling him boring?
Dude, people like marks like me and you are like, yeah, Mike Tenay, he's a smart guy. He's really good. But like in the wrestling world, he is the match striker.
Everyone's just,
yeah. He's like, dude, shut your, there's a match going on. Shut up. We're pushing an angle later on. Why are you talking about a Mexican wrestler from 40 years ago that people wouldn't be able to know about if you showed them a video of?
Plus, another thing I was confused about, who was it? Don West comes out, Hawaiian shirt.
Right.
He introduces Ed Ferraro, comes out in that getup.
Leather, yeah, solid leather.
And then they introduce today, who's already at ringside sitting there.
In a full tux.
In a tuxedo, yeah. But he's sitting there. They were like in the back getting catering, hanging out. And they're like, all right, let's go do the show. And he's already sitting there like a nerd. And I couldn't tell if the other guys were too cool for the dress code, if there was no dress code, and today just showed up in a tux.
Right.
Which I think it was.
It sort of makes sense for a second, where Tenay's like, it's all about respect. And then Don West is like, you said it, brother. And then Ferrara's like, well, speak for yourself. And it's like, oh, the guy's in the tuxedo and the other guy's all leathered out. He doesn't care. But what about the Hawaiian guy that seems to care, but not enough to dress up? Yeah, whatever. So anyway, Mike Tenay welcomes us. He says tonight's all about respecting history and crowning a new NWA heavyweight champion in the gauntlet for the gold match. I don't know why, but this is a moment where I'm like, you fucking nerd. Yeah. Because he says, gentlemen, if you give me a moment, I'll explain the rules. And I go, fuck you!
Well, you don't want to sit there the whole show wondering what the rules are to this crazy match. But he could have just said,
and the rules are. Why do you have to go, gentlemen, if you give me a second, I'll explain the rules. I hated it. I hated it, yeah. Two men start in the ring every 90 seconds. Someone enters when you're eliminated when you're thrown over the top and you hit the floor. None of that when your feet hit the floor crap. Just when you hit the floor. Last two have a one fall match for the title. Ferrara says it's Darwinism in action. And Don says, we got some legends. Let's go to Borash. That's not a quote, but that's what he says. In the ring, baby Jeremy Borash introduces the NWA legends.
The man needs more collars.
Yeah. What did he have right now? 2? 3?
He only had 2, but they were roughly each 7 inches in length.
So out come the legends, 8-time NWA champion, handsome Harley Race. Dory Funk Jr., no moniker needed. The original fabulous one, Jackie Fargo. This is the one that caught me off guard. The fighting fireman from Mariana.
What? I didn't even hear that.
Yeah. Bullet Bob Armstrong.
I missed that one. At this point, the camera was just trying to figure out who was who, and because there's 2 entrances, and none of the cameramen know any of these legends or stars.
No, and like nobody in the back, nobody in Gorilla is explaining to the director who's coming out what side. So like they film one entranceway, and nothing happens, and then a camera cuts to that guy already halfway down the ramp because they're like, oh crap, and then they announce another guy, and they cut to the entranceway, and it's a legend that has not been introduced yet. And the other legend that they're trying to get is already waiting to get in the ring because it's backed up and everyone's taking too long to get in the ring.
But they have to stay on that guy long enough because they have to get the nameplate up. So he's already like trying to get in the ring, but they're holding him. No, don't go yet.
Don't go yet.
We need the nameplate first.
It was already paid for. We can't. So we also have NWA's first couple, Corsica Joe and Sarah Lee. NWA, this is the weird one to me, like in general. NWA Senior Vice President Bill Behrens.
All these guys I recognize.
And Ricky Steamboat!
Everybody knows Ricky Steamboat. Poor Harley Race.
Tenay runs down their accomplishments when they come out. Ferrara makes snide comments, and West says nothing.
He doesn't know what's happening.
This whole, he doesn't say anything for the first 3 segments of the show. He has no clue what's going on.
Well, it's all Tenay.
Yeah.
He's putting over everybody. Ferrara, gives snide comments and buries the people ever so often, and then West is laughingly agreeing because he recognizes that Ferrara's the cool one, so he wants to be cool, so he laughs with him. Yeah. So it's just 2 guys laughing at Tenay, just putting over the old guy. So it just seems like they don't give a shit about tradition, even though that's all he's saying.
Yeah,
I don't understand the company from the start.
I agree with you completely.
Especially, he was like, "Oh yeah, Jackie Fargo. He's a First Ballot Observer. What was it? First Ballot Wrestling Observer Hall of Famer."
Right.
And Ferrara was like, "What is the Wrestling Observer? I don't know what that is." And he was like, "Oh, how dare you not know what that is? It's only the most recognizable news thing." He's like, yeah, sure. Sounds dumb." And West's like, "Ha ha ha." I'm like, I don't know who I'm supposed to believe.
Which is awful because that would have been a good line for West, who literally doesn't know what that is, and it would have been informative instead of Ferrara saying it, who he knows what it is. So today, he's like, "Oh my God, the crowd is bowing and saluting the legends." Right as the camera cuts to the crowd, dumbfounded and motionless.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Also, right as a very weak chant for Ricky Steamboat starts. Steamboat.
Those are the 2 plants in the crowd.
Yeah, it was bad. Ricky Steamboat thanks everybody for watching here and around the world, and immediately botches by saying, "It gives me great pleasure to stand in this squared circle, and the many times that I was in this circle, and throughout my wrestling career would someday be a world champion." He name drops Ric Flair, which gets a pop, and mentions the NWA title, which gets less of a pop. Ricky says he's going to be the special referee for the Gauntlet for the Gold Finals match. My world! Out comes Jeff Jarrett. He says the Gauntlet for the Gold is a joke. Checky Fargo starts talking over him mid-promo, so you can't hear either of them.
I will say this, as Jeff Jarrett does come out on Total Nonstop Action.
Yeah.
This is the 9 minute and 30-second mark of the show.
Yeah.
Where we haven't gotten any action yet.
Not technically, yeah. No action.
No action. 9 minutes in. About 10 minutes in.
Fargo gets a huge pop for the one thing you can hear, which is "kiss my ass."
Oh, I heard him say a few things.
Oh.
Like when he was like, "I remember you when you were this high and you were still doo-doo and yellow." I was like, what? Doo-doo and yellow.
I remember when you was a child and you had a horrible disease.
We all thought you were the worst.
So Jackie, he continues on. He's like, "You don't even do the stroke like I do. And you know what? You're number one entrant for the Gauntlet." Music hits. No one recognizes it.
He's holding the microphone like you would hold a cell phone if you weren't talking into it.
Right.
He's just like an Italian speaking with his hands,
he's going.
waving it all
You
over the
can't hear
place. You
anything.
can't hear what he's saying.
No. So music hits. No one recognizes it. Out comes former WWE superstar Ken Shamrock, who says basically the same thing. "You know what? This match is crap. But don't worry about that. Worry about me." Music hits. Out comes wrestling's real outlaw, Scott Hall.
I was very happy at Ken Shamrock for being one of the only wrestlers to do math correctly in a battle royal type setting.
Right.
Saying you may throw out 18 other men,
right,
but you're not going to throw out the 19th, which is me, because there are 20 men. Usually people just say, you're not going to be throwing out 20 other men, which you have to be Macho Man to do that.
Right. And then I don't know if Scott Hall is terrible at math or gave something away when he was like, "Look, I don't know if you should worry about 18 or 19 other guys, but don't worry about it. Just worry about Scott Hall." And I was like, okay.
Well, he was obviously very drunk. That man could not stand up straight that entire promo. He was swaying back and forth and staggering.
Jarrett says, "Everyone can stick it. Fargo, you're going to regret this," and leaves. And then Ferrara throws it back.
Again, with this company, all three men came out, all had the same first message. All three men. Heel, face, face. I don't agree with TNA, and I think this company is dumb.
Start. The start.
All three men.
We're roughly that segment that we just watched was 10 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So we're roughly 12 minutes into this show. Ferrara, Don West, Jarrett, Scott Hall, Ken Shamrock, and probably someone I've missed are all dissatisfied with the company that just started.
And Tenay is the babyface.
And Tenay, and Mike Tenay. Ricky Steamboat and Jackie Fargos are the face of this company right now.
Oh my God.
So that was the segment, minute 40. Do you have any thoughts? You want to summarize your thoughts at all, or was it a good segment?
No. You started off total nonstop action with a bunch of old guys talking about nonsense, and then everyone in the company burying the company you're in. I tried to get behind it, but I couldn't. I was happy to see Shamrock and Scott Hall. Right. They got that part right.
All right.
I was like, yeah, those guys. But once they started talking, I was like, oh, they're just burying the company and then doing what you already announced, that they're going to be in the Battle Royal.
Right.
So they're just like, yeah, I'm going to be in it. I'm going to win. They didn't do anything.
I don't know. I thought show-wise, it was a good segment because it shows you the history in the series and the title. It sets up your main event. It establishes face and heels in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But it did border on too long, I thought. It was getting a little boring.
You already explained it, but it shouldn't have been the opener.
Right.
Should not have been the opener.
It is what it was.
I immediately just been...
My only complaints, which is some stuff you already mentioned, which is Fargo forgets you have to talk into the mic.
Yeah.
A lot. He starts waving his hand. You don't know myself. Scott Hall, very clearly still dealing with his substance abuse problems.
Yep.
And I'm probably going to say this over and over again, but Mike Tenay, I'll say it right now and get out of the way. Mike Tenay is a guy I either like or I don't. 100% or 0%. When a rookie's in the ring and he's like, this man, he started out in Mexico, and when he's explaining the backstory of a rookie and stuff,
yeah, he's great.
Yeah. Amazing. I love it. When he's talking about the prestige of a title or the history of a feud, great. I'm for it, and it makes it seem realish, right? Yeah. That level of realish that wrestling needs. But when he's interjecting he misses calls to explain trivia that doesn't need to be said. Like, he'll call moves by their long-term hardcore name when the move already happened. He's missing another move.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing that Don West might have say is already 4 seconds out now, because he was like, what a beautiful con hope tilo Omara
he needs
Katsira
more
by
direction.
Seraton Pole. And you're like,
It's not good when
"What?"
he decides what's important to talk about, because he just goes on and then feels slighted if they don't want to hear it, so he just keeps
There's
going.
one point in it's the Psychosis match where the match is going on and he's like not calling moves because he's explaining to people what Psychosis' name in Mexico.
Oh,
And
yeah, I
that
remember that
name is based off of his real name in real life. And I was like, dude, he's got 2 fake names. Why are you giving his bank name out? Like, what is wrong with you? You co-signing on a house with him? Like, what are you doing?
Bet you guys didn't know this.
We're not supposed to. Oh, Psychosis wrestling for 45 years. Did you know that? Also, his wife's name is Sarah. Yeah. Not related at all. Thought you should know he has a kid, too. By the way, anyway.
It's a great comeback here by Marty Jannetty. I don't know if you knew about this about him growing up, but someone once used to try to sell him weed.
Yeah. Stuff like that. You know, Marty Jannetty has a great rocker dropper, and you see it in this match. You know, legends say he hit a body in the Chattahoochee River. You know, I don't know if that's true. Yeah, stuff like that. Also, I hate every time, except when it's inappropriate, and I love it.
What?
His fake ass. Whoa! It's awful.
He tries. He pushes
except
it.
when it's way bad, and I like, that's so bad, it's great.
I like Don West's better. His is so forced, but even though it's slightly believable, it just seems like he's having fun doing it himself. I love Don West.
Yeah. Okay. So that was all the legends, the slow pace. Now we're actually gonna get some. It starts. Starts hitting some pacing. Segment 2, we go to the back. We get Goldilocks. Who is Goldilocks? TNA's backstage interviewer, a very talented musician who opened for Pink in 1999 and also created the entrance music of TNA wrestlers Alyssa Flash, Trinity, Tara, Brooke Tessmacher, Thea Trinidad, and Dixie Carter.
Damn.
Sort of a Philo Jimmy Hart, almost.
Almost.
Well,
I think I remember hearing her sing. She's pretty talented.
She has a band called Goldilocks.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, I hate her.
Yeah?
Every time she's on screen. I hate her.
Goldilocks is with the original midget killer, Puppet the Psycho Dwarf.
He's the original.
Yeah, the original midget killer.
Is there
Puppet
someone
the
else
Psycho
also
Dwarf.
calling themselves the midget killer?
Oh, I don't
That he has to be the original?
Oh, is it like
Psycho
a La Parka LA Park situation?
Yeah, did someone else try to swoop the name?
There's a Puppet the Psycho Dwarf and there's a pup pet. He's just like a dog, he's a pet puppy. I don't know.
Midget?
So he says, you know what? Let's start the show off with midgets. You're too late. It's the second segment. He badmouths.
Second segment.
It's already,
this is how we should start off the show, right?
Oh yeah, it's already all over.
No.
He badmouths all the other midget wrestlers. This is what they call themselves at this time. So I'm going to be using that word if you don't like it. This is specifically what they use to call themselves. And today, if you look it up, you can still find promotions that call themselves midget wrestlers. It seems like when wrestling is involved, it is specifically called midget. Like that is the moniker of it. He badmouths all of the other midget wrestlers, which is just T.O. and Hollywood at this point. And the interview ends when they get startled by Jarrett knocking something over.
2 things.
Yep.
One, my problem with Goldie is that
hang on. Segment 40 seconds. That's all it was. Your thoughts.
Goldie.
Yeah.
She wants to be a manager. She shouldn't be an interviewer.
Right.
Every time she asks someone a question, she's never blank face and she's never reacting to what they say. She's always acting like she's the one saying what they're saying.
Right.
She puts all this like stern emotion and tries to act like her head's moving to everything they're saying.
There's this part in this promo where Puppet is doing this like, you know what I think that we should, and he keeps turning to Goldie and then turning to the camera, and Goldie is doing that with him with this like falsified scowl, like
she gets down on her knee.
We're bad.
She's like level with him. It seems like they're a tag team now all of a sudden.
I hated it. It took away from the seriousness of the wrestler and made it like, I mean, I know it's supposed to be a comedy gimmick, but it deflated the wrestler for me.
Yeah.
Like if the interviewer was right, if the interviewer was in a position where the wrestler could beat her physically and she didn't care. And that's the idea of wrestling, is that these men are monsters in physical space. She was like, I don't care if he hits me. It's fake. I don't look.
He's a psycho midget killer.
Yeah, like he's like, oh, it was awful.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I love TNA has always done this. They combine storylines and they combine promos. They make one promo end and another promo go into it. They make
nonstop
everything
action.
seem like it's all happening. Like the Muppet Show has always been my favorite comparison, where everyone's backstage, they're all working at the same place instead of WWE, where everyone seems like they're at opposite ends of the building at all times.
Right.
You never see anyone else working there.
No.
I don't understand that.
So we go back to the ring. This next contest is one fall with a 20-minute time limit and is a 6-man tag. We have, and I'll tell you where they're from NWA Wildside at this time, AJ Styles. From Jersey All-Pro, Low Key. And from ECW, Jerry Lynn.
What a fucking team. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me?
Yes. And keep in mind that at this time, independents are just like the only option. So everyone's from everywhere.
Yeah.
But this is where they're mainly known from.
I believe ROH just started slightly before this.
But they just started. Like, they're not
Like,
even
yeah,
famous
they
yet.
just started slightly
they
before
just
this.
started. So yeah, Styles, Low-Key, and Lynn versus the Flying Elvises. Indie wrestlers trained by Dusty Rhodes, which is Jorge Estrada and Sonny Siaki, as well as WCW's Young Dragons, Jimmy Yang.
Nobody knows how great of a team that first team is. Nobody knew yet.
Everybody in this match is great. Like, the weak link in this match is Jorge Estrada, and he's still really good.
Yeah. Yeah, he was really tight in everything he did. This was a great match.
It was great. Yeah.
It was,
TNA, excuse me. I think it's so poetic, like, that it's so hard to say his name, that TNA works for TNA. Like, I screw it up all the time. TNA asks, are you ready to see exactly what we mean when we say total nonstop action?
It's exactly what this match was, nonstop.
But as he says that, we cut to the legends in the back who are both upset and confused by what they're seeing in the monitor, which is this match. TNA also mentions that there's no weight limit in the X Division and it's all about style, which I guess means this is an X Division match. No graphic, no nothing. Nothing. So before the bell, Styles, Key, and Lynn go for the babyface handshake, but the Elvises turn their back on it. And when the faces turn their back to Southern disgust, the heels blindside them.
Classic Southern wrestling. I get it now. Who's
Yep.
heel, who's face?
The bell rings, and the faces immediately take control with AJ-style Hurricane Rana, bracketed by drop kicks by Lynn and Key.
That was great.
Everyone out except for AJ and Yang. AJ hits a powerbomb. Yang counters by tossing AJ into the sky, letting gravity do the rest. Followed by a very impactful leg attack, according to Tenay, which was a Shining Wizard. I guess we didn't know the name back then. AJ attacks Lynn, who hits a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, followed by a tornado DDT, which Yang counters by flipping to his feet and then hitting Enziguri. Into the heel corner, one-legged drop salt, which today only calls a moonsault. This happens a lot. He calls moves weird. Tag to Sonny Siaki, who misses a front flip leg drop to Lynn. Lynn hits another tilt-a-whirl flying this is what he calls it. Tilt-a-whirl flying head scissors takeover, which is what Tenay calls it.
Okay.
Tag to Low-Key, who was cut off with a snapping neck breaker by Siaki. Low-Key counters with a kick. Siaki hits a Canadian backbreaker.
Low-Key is so mean.
Yeah.
He doesn't, like, he understands it's fake, but I don't think he understands how to control his own legs. Because he just kicks people as hard as he can.
It's
and he
crazy.
has these pants that are designed to be super parachute and airy, but he has these big hunk of leather on the side, which isn't a design. He can
No,
say it's a
it's just
design.
leather.
It's not a design. It's just there for him to slap his leg so he can make a sound. But he doesn't do it. Because he just kicks people as hard as he can, and that's the sound. He's such a mean person.
Estrada in, springboard moonsault, gross-looking rope-assisted hangman neckbreaker, followed by a running shooting star.
Beautiful.
Very good. Low-Key recovers, chops him down, hot tag to AJ. He hits his flying forearm, his reverse moonsault DDT.
What do you call that move? He says. It's a reverse DDT.
Yang reverses a German suplex into a spinning heel kick. Low-Key breaks with a pin, and the ref allows him to stay in. This is when we just get the hot tag, waterfall, bing, bang, bing, bing, bing. Everyone hits a move. Spine buster to Low-Key. Tenay calls it a powerbomb. By Estrada. Lynn hits Estrada with the cradle pile driver. Lynn gets hit by a swinging neckbreaker by Siaki. Roll the dice style. Who walks into AJ Styles' flying kick. Who walks into Yang's attack, but AJ holds him in the corner, and Low-Key does a cartwheel kick, but Yang escapes, hits AJ, Estrada missile drop kicks Low-Key, Phoenix Senton, which is Yang time, On to AJ, Flying Elvis's win. Match length, 6 minutes and 27 seconds. I hope you were able to follow the way I called it, because I've never done that before.
Yeah, it was pretty accurate because there was absolutely no selling.
No. Yeah, there are times where you hear what I was saying and thinking, wait, look, AJ hits a power bomb and then it gets countered with a kick? Yes, it did. Yes, it did. A man was hit with a power bomb, stood up, and then started kicking a man.
Yeah,
it was nonstop.
He either just stood straight up, or as soon as they hit the move, they went over and picked them up immediately.
Yeah,
Didn't go
there
for a
was no
cover.
time for any
There was
selling.
maybe 2 covers the entire match.
Yes.
Maybe. I should have counted, but I think there was either the last one and maybe there was a pinfall,
Right.
finger quotes, by AJ, even though he didn't cover him, and the ref went down for a 2 count. He did a power slam, and he kind of just like hovered over him. The ref went down, counted 1. AJ started to stand up.
Yeah.
Ref counted 2. AJ started to pick him up. The ref went, no, that's a 2 count.
Yeah, no
I was
kidding.
like, oh, you. By the way, my least favorite referee of all time. I forgot his name, rightfully so. But
Slick? No.
No, it's the fallen ref, because he looks like the fallen angel,
Right.
Christopher Daniels.
I
But
forget
he's
his name. I think it's
not.
written down somewhere. That's my only problem with this style of wrestling. I think they fix it later on in time, but at this point, they're doing everything. Well, they don't totally fix it, but they're doing all this really impressive stuff over and over and over, and so fast and so quick that they don't actually mean anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And because they don't mean anything, they're somehow simultaneously very impressive and not impressive at all. Because when Jimmy Yang does the Phoenix for whatever it is, Senton Phoenix as a finisher, once you see him do that, it's like, oh, he can do that?
Yeah.
Holy, that guy did 1 flip. I don't care. And it takes away it in a way when it's like, yeah, but I just saw him do 9 flips. The guy kick out at 2. It's, what do you...
Yeah,
it takes away from it after a while.
It was a live performance of their own video package, and they're just like, yeah, this is all the shit I do in 2 minutes, so here it all is.
Yeah, like a highlight reel.
Yeah. Like, it was a live action highlight reel of everything they did, which doesn't work.
No, yeah, because it's supposed to be a match.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 2 seconds of 5 seconds of a bunch of matches, and you just did it all in one match.
All right. After the match, we get more production mic issues. I'm sure you heard this during the puppet segment, where at the end you hear production mic talking over him. And this one too. This is the one where it's really easy to notice, where Tenay's recapping the match, and I guess there's a crossed wire or something like that, because I think Ferrara presses the mute button, and instead of it muting him, it mutes Ferrara. I mean, it mutes Tenay, and all you can hear is Ferrara and the production in the back. He's like, hey, is this when we're going to the ring? And then you hear the back, no, not yet.
Whoops.
It's like, oh.
Jeez, I missed that one. Yeah, the production was all over the place. When the Flying Elvises came out, they played 3 different songs.
Right.
Before they got it right. For a while, each song played for 3 to 5 seconds. Yeah. And they're like, oh no, this is wrong. Next one.
Next one.
And that song played for a while. I'm like, oh no, this isn't it either. Next one.
Next one. No. All right, segment 4. The following contest is scheduled for 1 fall and is a midget match.
Ooh.
Is how it was announced, with that gap too, where they're like, what? Like Boris had to be like, what the fuck?
Can I say this?
So Hollywood, who I could not find anything on, and WWA's T.O., who all of these guys, Hollywood, T.O., Puppet, and then later on another guy, Meatball, are all from the WWA and are all famous because of Puppet, I think. I think Puppet grouped it. It was like, come with me and we'll all wrestle each other, and then we'll have a place on the card. Instead of showing up to a card, be like, hey, can I wrestle? Wrestle who? You show up with your own opponent. I think it's something like that. It's like territory days type stuff.
Yeah, they're their own territory. They bring to
I
other
think that's
territories.
what it was like. Yeah, and that's why they got hired.
Midget union?
I think sort of like that, yeah.
Wow.
So before we have time to even appreciate the wrestling that we just saw, T.O. and Hollywood are already in the ring. And they're wrestling. It's bing, 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 go.
No, didn't T.O. have an entrance? Hollywood didn't have an entrance.
He had an entrance in that they announced him.
And he ran out.
But you didn't see him. You saw him already in the, he was already running to the ring.
No, he had an old entrance. Did you miss that?
I guess so.
Yeah, he came out waving. He went up the stairs. Yeah, he had a whole entrance.
I saw him already in the ring.
Yeah, I have it written down because Hollywood didn't even get an entrance, so he was a jobber midget. And I was
they
like,
cut away from him.
How low on the totem pole?
Bell rings. Hollywood attacks T.O., who was still showboating on the top ropes. Hollywood tosses T.O. against the ropes, and you could see T.O. almost loses his footing, like Hollywood pushed him for real.
Yeah.
And Hollywood goes for a tilt-a-whirl something, but he falls.
He tilted his world.
From the center of the ring, he falls all the way into the corner.
All the way, which is pretty far if you're thinking about it for midgets.
Right.
So it was
Right.
like 4 steps he took.
Tio hits a springboard headbutt to the crotch in the corner on Hollywood.
Comedy spots for midgets.
Followed by a top rope 10 punch with a hip thrust and a one more for good luck punch.
Comedy spots for midgets.
Hollywood slam. Hollywood hits a slam that I don't know how to call. I'm just not familiar with the move. It's a Rikishi driver, but the guy takes a back bump instead of like going head first.
Oh yeah, I think like Tonga Loa does that in New Japan and calls it ape shit. Not that helps.
No. Fine. Hollywood goes to the top rope for his finisher, but Tio kicks out. After a series of miscommunications, Tio finally hits a Russian leg sweep, followed by a swanton, which honestly looks more like a very strange elbow drop. And Tio wins. We see Tio celebrate before we cut to the TNA girls, as Tanae tells us that Tio means total, E, outstanding.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
The world's most extreme athlete.
I missed that one. I did hear that Hollywood was from Memphis
Yes.
because his name isn't about geography, it's about style.
Right.
And I don't know what style Hollywood is.
No, I don't know either. So, match length, 2 minutes, 50 seconds. My thoughts, they need training.
Yes.
However, in their defense, name one midget wrestling school.
The only thing I could say to that is Mike Tenay did reference Rey Mysterio a lot, only because, you know,
Yeah.
there's short people in
I
the
know,
ring.
I know.
So
Again,
Rey Mysterio.
one of those things where I'm like, shut up, Tanae.
So if
That has nothing to do with this.
Mysterio ever opens a school, maybe he can, you know, train both.
Still hasn't yet. We'll keep waiting, guys. After the match, Tanae plugs the NWA TNA website, which includes letters to the fans from the wrestlers. I used the Wayback Machine to get a snapshot of what this website looked like. The closest I could get was June 7th, which the headlines, which they called news lines for their website, were just things like, we're going to be on Wednesdays at 8, so keep that in mind. Hey, we just signed this guy. Remember this star? He's with us. 5 beautiful ladies we just signed. And then I found the section, because not all the links work, but I found the section where it was like, letters to the fans from the wrestlers. No wrestlers.
No.
At that time, anyway. No wrestlers. It was the letter from like Bill Apter, which is, he's a photographic journalist. And Ed Ferrara had a batshit insane letter to the old school NWA fans, basically saying that if you think the new Incredible Hulk movie is going to rape the legacy of the old Incredible Hulk show, well, maybe you're right. And maybe it deserves to get raped.
Oh, wow.
Just like the NWA.
Wow. And when did he write that?
2002. And he also says that supporting...
So the same year that he got signed by the NWA.
He also says that supporting TNA, and I suppose anything, before you know what they have to offer, would be suicidal.
Would be suicidal.
Yeah.
That's a great comparison.
I'm so glad. Yeah, that he's here. So segment 5. This is the one. This is the one. Don West and Ed Ferrara are now in the ring for the lingerie battle royal that's happening next week.
This is when I was so sure that Ed Ferrara changed attires.
This segment, exactly like the first one, the legends coming out and just bodies piling up and no one knowing where to go. And is this the person no, that's not the legend. It's the same thing with these women. Out first, here we go. Here they come. ECW legend Francine. You have to know who she is. I'm not going to explain that. The one and only Miss Joni. One day, a lady walked up to Jerry Lawler in like 91 and was like, "Hey, can I be your manager?" And Jerry Lawler was like, "Okay."
Oh, and he remembered.
And this is now a valet from the USWA. That's where she's famous, USWA.
Yeah, Francine came out. I was like, oh, okay, I wonder what woman gonna have. And then everyone else came out, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
who are these people?
Then we get from ECW, it's Daphne.
Oh,
I mean, from WCW, it's Daphne.
You may remember her as Daphne. That's not her name anymore.
Shannon is now her name, which is AKA the screaming valet to David Flair and Crowbar in WCW.
Well, that's a very much longer name than the first two. AKA the valet. I would not want to type that up.
This is when they cut to the entrance ramp, and we're like, "Oh, is this her? No, that's not her. She's already done the ramp."
Some of them are just standing up at the entranceway waiting.
Right.
They're trying to find them, even though they're not moving.
Yeah, they're not moving. The camera's not moving, and somehow everyone's still lost. They don't say this, but hot indie talent at this point. Alexis Lurie, which is soon to be famous for pay lesbian and train yard related miscarriage victim Mickey James. From NCW, the incredible Sasha, Northern Championship Wrestling, a Quebec, Canada-based promotion. Baltimore Ravens cheerleader Aaron, a former WWE Tough Enough contestant, or WWF Tough Enough contestant, who was disqualified for allegedly sleeping with Hardcore Holly.
Yeah, wow. Of all people. She's definitely one that stood out of the group, though. A lot of them just looked like indie wrestlers or just ring rats. And then you actually had like a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, and she looked like a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. It was weird. It was uncomfortable for everyone. I don't think she wanted to be there.
No. A few of them looked like they did not want to be there, to be honest with you.
Well, a few of them, including Francine, I guess it was just like, yeah, just wear a dress, wear something sexy. So Francine wore her idea of sexy, and then every other woman was like, I think I'm wearing too much.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, conservatively revealing tops, and it's still like, ooh, I have too much clothes
Like, I remember staring at Mickey James. She had, like, her prom dress on, and she, like, kept looking at some of the other girls, and you could see her hand. She's, like, holding her dress, trying to hike it up so it's not as long. She's trying to hold it. She's like, I look like a child here, which she did. She looked like she was 19.
She did look very young, yeah. We also have ECW's Elektra. She was towards the end.
Was that always her name? Because I feel like I recognized her.
No, I'm pretty sure it was always her fame. Sorry. Actual quote. Another familiar face, Taylor Vaughn. This is WWF's BB, or Barbara Bush, the paramedic, that gimmick. And she was also known as Papaya on one episode of Nitro.
That quote is like the tagline of TNA.
Another familiar face?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, you might remember this face.
And last but not least, the most pointless nickname moniker of all, making her debut. Everyone's making their debut. It's the start of the company. What are you talking about? Making her debut, Teresa Tyler. No information available.
That's just her name. And this is what she looks like.
I couldn't find anything about her.
Oh, after the fact, like now.
At all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, nothing. I could find nothing.
What is her name?
Teresa Tyler.
And the search is on if anyone can find anything about her.
Good luck spelling the names right, too. So this is when because when I saw him come out, when I saw Ed Ferrara come out, I was like, what's up with Battlefield Earth over here? You know, like, Jesus Christ, is he trying to get the back door into Scientology? All right. This is when I get a good look at him, and you already mentioned some of the things that he's wearing, but yeah, he does look like that. He has a half-open purple button-up shirt with yellow diamond patterns with white or a light pink, very thin, like spaghetti thin boa feather sticking out of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I could only tell because I got it from the actual TNA website version where I was like, oh, you can see everything so much better now. Yeah, he looks like his shirt is made from I don't know if you're familiar enough with Muppets, but he looks like his shirt is made with the two-headed Muppet. You know that monster Muppet? It's got two hands and two heads.
Yeah, I think
and it's purple and it's got
all the fuzzy things coming off of it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I have. Was Ed Ferrara always wearing that ugly pink spotted fuzzy shag carpet button down short sleeve shirt?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, he also had the very clearly braids with extensions, like very high up. He did not have long hair.
Yeah.
He had very short hair with like, oh, you know what would be fun? Like, as a summer vacation, let's go to, like, Acapulco. And then, the natives want to braid my hair. Okay, why not? Let them do that. I'll give him $50 for that. What? So he had that on. He also had...
But he also had, like, those, like, jewels or something. Like, Jack Sparrow, like, jewels hanging in the threads and stuff.
They didn't put them on very well, but those are the connections to hide.
Well, no, because he had, like, a few of them. Yeah. So, like, it was for decoration as well. So I was just like, oh, my God.
Yeah, because it's supposed to hide the connection, but it was connected so poorly. You could see his real hair sticking out from underneath the connectors. So it was like, dude, he must have did that himself an hour ago. He's also wearing two different styles of necklaces, hoop earrings, leather pants, 2 sizes too big for him, because when the clear vision goes on, you can see that's like 3 rolls on his heel. Yep. Platform leather boots that are at least 2.5 inches thick.
I didn't notice the platforms.
Yeah, when I got the better version, the clearer version, I was like, oh my God, it's worse than I thought. It was worse than I thought. Which you can see on TNA. They give this first episode out for free, on YouTube. They give it out for free on YouTube with the higher quality. So everyone's in the ring now. Wes says there can only be one Miss TNA. Francine grabs the mic, says, none of the women in this ring compare to me, her. And what did any of you ever do for the wrestling business? And Elektra gets on the mic and says, I'll tell you what. But she means it more like a, let me tell you something, Mean Gene.
Yeah.
Not like, I will tell you what all of us have done for the... No, because she doesn't explain a single thing, any of it. She goes, I'll tell you what. Who died and made you quit?
They all had their own promo, but none of them told each other what they were going to talk about. So that was her promo that she was calling
And then
out.
she's like, this isn't ECW. You're the reason ECW went bankrupt. Get fired!
You were almost doing a spot-on impersonation of her voice.
Yeah.
I don't see
I don't
extreme in the name here.
Extreme in the name. So they wrestle, and then...
But before that...
There's stuff before that?
Yeah, it was just something small, things that I noticed that make me laugh. When Francine grabbed the mic from Don West,
Yeah.
she was like, give me that, Pudgy.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, whoo. He was like, oh, giddy that she called him Pudgy. And he liked it. I didn't understand that at all. What is Don West into?
I did. It was so weird. I didn't want to mention. I was like, ooh, that might be a fetish
He
thing.
looked at Ferrari. He's like, did you hear that? She called me Pudgy.
I was like, that might be a fetish thing. I don't want to talk about that. That's weird.
I know why they hang out now. Ooh.
So they catfight. Elektra is very carefully stripped down to her bra so they don't rip the bra as well.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. She went for 2 big handfuls of her shirt and then made sure she wasn't grabbing the bra. It's like, is this just a shirt? It's just a shirt? Okay, this is just a shirt. Okay, rip it off.
And then Francine leaves and you're never going to see my lingerie. I'm going to be the first ever Miss TNA.
Okay, now I have to pause there because did they talk about it being like a lingerie match in the Battle Royal?
It's a lingerie battle royal.
They said that? They said that name?
Yeah.
But, I missed that.
But they never explained if you have to get ripped out of your clothes to lose the battle royal or if it's a regular battle royal and they're dressed in lingerie.
That's why I felt like it was so... I didn't
never
hear
explained.
that. I thought it was a weird attention thing where she was just beat someone up and walked away. Yeah, well... None of you are going to see me in my lingerie as she starts to take it off. Don't you want to see me? No, please.
This is the one rare occasion on the show we definitely could have used. Gentlemen, if you give me a second, I'll explain the rules.
Yes, please. We wanted those rules explained right then. Because Francine did a horrible job.
Ferrara and West console Elektra as the lights go out and we cut to the dancing girls. Segment 5 minutes. Segment length 5 minutes 20 seconds.
I'm pretty sure, that's when they grab the jacket, throw it over Elektra.
Yeah.
And Ferrara's just like, why are you doing this? Why is this happening? I thought we were friends, Wes. He was so confused by it.
So, what are your thoughts? I mean, I get why they did it.
I needed more explanation of what was happening. I didn't care about most of the girls. They probably, honestly, could have done it with 6 girls instead of, 9?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I would have laughed if it was 5 or 6 and
No.
well, then they should have done it with 3.
Yeah, 9 people, and then so there was 11 people in the ring.
So 11 people. They had 9 girls. 2 of them had the promo. So we're now thinking those 2 are going to win.
Right. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like it.
Yeah. All it did was let me know that the female talent for this company is very minimal.
Yes, I didn't think they had any.
And
wrestlers.
also, comparatively, Goldilocks is definitely being wasted.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
She should have been in that match.
She's already being wasted.
Should have been in the match.
I'm not saying that if she was in this segment, I wouldn't then be complaining about her being too over the top. But considering the talent pool, she definitely should be in this consideration. Yeah. Segment 6.
Yes, the Jim Cornette promo.
I have my least favorite segment. It was awful. Goldilocks with Mortimer Plumtree, who is a actor turned wrestler.
Wait, you mean that's not Jim Cornette?
No.
I'm pretty sure that was Jim Cornette.
It's Mortimer Plumtree.
Okay.
He puts himself over and introduces his tag team /servants /former bullies, the Johnsons.
Yeah. That's Jim Cornette. You're explaining Jim Cornette right now.
Did you not? Did you notice that, right? The
thunder. The thunder?
strike?
Yeah. Was that part of the music or was that a transitional thing?
If
just
it was
to go into the next scene.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Segment length 1 minute and 10 seconds. I thought the guy went way too long putting himself over and not at all putting over the talent.
Yeah.
It was a waste of time. It was a waste of time, yeah. And then also the thunder effect just made this way more comedic than it needed to be. Considering the fact that there's still an element in wrestling that you have to take these guys sort of seriously, that is just I don't know what's going on here.
The big detail during the murder mystery.
It's almost kind of like the WWE now, where it's the Fiend. It's I want to, but he's like, it's 100% cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, it's 100% cartoon. So, segment 7. Making their way, they don't actually announce a match. They just go right into it. Making their way to the ring, accompanied by Mortimer Plumtree, Richard and Rod Johnson, the Johnsons.
Ooh.
I hate it already, because the second they're done announcing it, Tenay's like, there's been a lot of internet controversy over these fellas about whether or not they belong here. And I'm just like, no, there fucking hasn't.
Nobody knew they were coming here because they weren't anything before. This was a creation for the company, was it not? Yeah. I'm almost positive. Do you know anything about the Johnsons?
I mean, I know who they are. Yeah, I know that.
I'm almost positive they were originally a tag team for the NWA. They were the NWA tag team champions.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, they were the NWA tag team champions. They started TNA.
Mhm.
They brought them in. They were going to be the tag team champions.
I mean, I know who they are. They're the Shane twins.
Yeah,
They're the Gemini twins.
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah, that's them. Okay.
Yeah, and they didn't either like the gimmick. They didn't like how they were being used, so they left and they had to strip the titles off of them. So they were gonna be the champions, I guess. But
it would have worked if it wasn't for this dumbass gimmick.
Oh, a full bodysuit of flesh tone.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
The segment does not help either. And next we get their opponents, the Tennessee Cowboy James Storm and Psychosis. Storm has his low-budget pyros. His boy howdy, I sure hope this Wild West theme park is gonna last another year level cap guns. Like, it was
right away. I'm pretty sure Ferraro was like, I don't like this cowboy gimmick he has. And he was like, it's not a gimmick. This is how he lives. And he was like, oh, so he just walks around with a trench coat, no shirt on, pants. And I was like, why are you burying these people? And then as he was explaining that, that's when he got onto the top ropes and took out the cap guns. He's like, oh my God, he's got a gun. He started freaking out.
Very rare occasions, but times like this where I'm like, all right, Ferraro's all right.
Yeah.
Ferraro's okay, maybe. I don't know. So yeah, the Johnsons, aka the Gemini twins, if you're familiar with them by that name,
Richard and Rod.
Yes, Richard and Rod versus WCW's. Surprisingly enough, at this time, yes, he was on WCW. James Storm. He was a jobber. That was his claim to fame, and he was a jobber. Otherwise, unknown independent wrestler.
Maybe just in the power plant. I don't remember ever seeing him.
Yeah, he was a power plant guy. It's probably more like NWA Wildside. It's a real thing.
Yeah, Saturday Night, whatever they had.
Whatever it was. Yeah, so, and then WCW's Psychosis. Duh.
Everyone knows Psychosis. And if you don't know him by all his other names, Tanay will tell you.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he does. But yeah, the whole setup and then the introductions of the Johnsons, this is the part in the pay-per-view where I was like, oh, I need a second. I gotta walk away. Hang on. This is no good.
You remember when the Flying Elvises were coming out and they played 3 different songs one after the other?
Yeah.
I feel like when the Johnsons were coming out, they played 3 different songs all at the same time.
Right, yes.
I couldn't understand what I was listening to.
There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues on this show.
It was like an old-timey carnival music, a dark guitar Ministry, and like bad generic rock as well, all playing at the same time. Right. I couldn't listen. I was like, I don't know what I'm hearing.
And that's the introduction to this. And I'm just like, what? I don't... And then they come out, and I go, what the fuck is this?
Seeing now?
And then their opponents come out, and what do we get? Oh, guys who are dressed like rejected Rush Hour sequels. Oh, this is going to be a great match.
What is that getup Psychosis is wearing?
Dude, they look like the rejected like wardrobe check for Shanghai Noon or something. Like, it's awful. Yo, so whatever. The match starts, and I'm already like, oh, no, dude, that's not how wrestling works. Like, everything's fine, but just as a viewer, I go, no, that's wrong. Match starts, Johnson's grabs, I think it's Psychosis, grabs Psychosis, double underhook suplex, boom, 1, 2 pin, kick out. 2 pin, first move, second the match starts, really? Oh, boy, I don't like this match already.
It was suplex, just grab him and suplex him. Cyclops, or whatever his name was. Cyclops couldn't stop him, that's his name now.
Cyclops, fine. Cyclopsis. The commentary puts over how the Johnsons look alike and how they can switch and confuse the referee.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I have a question within kayfabe and removed from kayfabe.
Oh boy, here we go.
So the reasoning they put on the full bodysuit
is
so they can confuse the referee, the other people, of who's in the ring, and they look the same.
Yeah, that makes sense. Go for it. Yeah.
So, but under the mask, they're identical twins, and they can do that anyway.
Yeah.
So why are they putting on the suit?
I don't know.
And why is it skin toned?
I don't know.
I don't understand it.
It doesn't make any sense. Nothing about this makes sense. don't worry, because it's not that important. Because 10 seconds later, we cut to Alicia in the entranceway.
Thank goodness.
Who Tanae mentions was the Maestro's manager in WCW.
you just buried her by giving her that recognition.
Which is terrible for me, because there's a more, in my opinion, in the wrestling world, there's a more famous moniker, which is Ryan Shamrock, Ken Shamrock's fake sister thing.
As soon as I saw her standing there, I was like, oh, it's Ryan Shamrock. What is she doing there?
No.
And then he said that. Oh, that's the girl that was...
The Maestro's... Oh,
he forgot about that.
He had... First off, you don't even say Symphony, which is her name, Symphony.
Oh, yeah!
Instead, you go, oh, it's that lady that was with that guy that played the piano that came down
that
from the
chick.
roof.
Yeah.
But never went anywhere.
Which is great, because I remembered her as Ryan Shamrock, which put her at a certain point in my head, and then they reminded me about that gimmick, which put her down in my head. I was like, oh, that's right, she did start to go downhill after a while. Thanks for reminding me.
It is amazing to me how many times they have something good and they go, but you know it's crap, right? Just like, Jesus Christ, guys. So this is another one of those times where I'm like, guys, gross. What the they show Ryan Shamrock and they cut away back to the match, and Ferrara's like, yeah, I wish the cameraman would shoot a little lower, and they cut back to her and shoot her lower.
And he's like, oh, thanks, cameraman.
Thanks, cameraman.
We're all working together here.
What the hell?
With that in mind,
yeah,
and every single person that would come through the entranceway, and the cameraman could not find the right person, but
know.
Ed Ferrara's just like, let me get some leg shot.
Boom, I can go right
immediately.
Back immediately.
Such a quick response for that one.
All right, so the Johnsons are really giving it to Storm. Just pounding away, not letting up an inch, really stretching him out, exhausting him from every angle. Tag to Psychosis.
Doesn't he start with like, listen, I don't want to say things like, and he starts like saying all these puns?
It's a false it's a non-starter.
Yeah.
It's a false non-starter. Yeah.
Good, because we need more dick puns in this TNA promotion.
Tag to Psychosis hits a drop kick, but he gets caught by the Johnson.
I'm pretty sure they didn't make one TNA pun during any of the women's segments.
I don't think so.
They just stared at him and did the Don West giddy.
The ref misses a spot of keeping Storm out of the ring because he's too busy doing his segment where he has to keep eyeing Alicia outside the ring and be like, get away, go ahead of you. Not now, go away.
Go ahead and take a guess at who's the referee.
Mm-hmm. Double flapjack, and the Johnsons send Psychosis flying. Ferrara says he won't mention that Psychosis is being pounded by the Johnsons right now. We go back to Alicia, and a fan purposefully, like, silly face photobombs the shot. Like,
he was the star of that shot.
Yeah, every single time. He was really good. I don't know how, like, I don't know if there's a red light on the camera, but he knew every time they went to him.
The last time it happened, I'm pretty sure I caught him because his head was backwards. So I'm pretty sure he was staring at the big Titantron. The second that happened, he saw Ryan Shamrock. He would turn around and be like, look at me and my tongue. So
hot tag, James Storm is putting hands on Johnson's. Psychosis joins him, but the Johnsons turn it into an arm trap, suplex, and stereo. Storm gets distracted by Mortimer Plumtree, and the ref looks away way too late.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnson hits the TKO. Yeah, like, he hits the ropes, Mortimer grabs his leg, and he stumbles. And after he stumbles, the ref's like, something in my eye, over there. It's over there in my eye.
Oh, was that the one? No, it's not. Never mind. I have it written down.
We've all seen this before, where a spot happens, and the ref's standing there, and he sees the spot, and then the ref goes, flies! There's flies in my eye! Oh! Bees everywhere! Bees in my eyes! Johnson's hit the TKO. Johnson's win. Match length, 4 minutes and 51 seconds. Post-match, the ref raises the Johnson hands, but Plumtree knocks the ref's hands off and pushes him out of the ring. Get out of the ring. Get out. I raised their hands. Outside of the ring.
Yeah, he actually tells him to go deal with her. He's like, why don't you go deal with that woman that's like distracting
He just points, though. Does he actually say go deal with her? Or?
I kind of read his lips almost.
Oh, okay.
He was like, why don't you just go do that or something. He's saying something to
right.
go deal with her.
So Alicia stops, this is it, referee Slick Johnson, who wants something from him. He tries to ignore it and like brush her off, but eventually he gives her the money. She bras it and walks away. And as she's walking away, you can just notice a at Max, 10-year-old boy,
The 11-year-old?
trying to grab her ass.
Oh, he went to smack it. He
was-
almost did.
Ooh, he was like inches away from a crime.
And he might have just missed, or he might have did that weird like
you stop right.
Keanu Reeves hand hover where he never really
Yeah.
puts his arm around anyone.
That's
where
not-
he went just like an inch away.
He
But
doesn't use it in that area though. He's not...
well, yeah, I know.
So, what are your thoughts on this?
This was the Johnsons match. Unnecessary.
Yeah, unnecessary.
Unnecessary. It was really quick.
No.
It didn't get anyone over.
Yeah, that really quick is a problem I have with this because I feel like this type of a match is a type of match that does not benefit from nonstop action. You need to slow it down.
Yeah.
Have more crowd work. Have more. I don't know. Johnson puns. Probably not.
Well, I mean, they had these men come out in morph suits, calling them the Johnsons.
Right.
They're a gimmick. And then they had an indie match showing off what they could do.
Right.
So I was like, why the fuck you guys called
No.
Johnsons?
Yeah. And then on top of that, even after that, Storm and Psychosis didn't even get over with me.
Oh, they didn't get to do anything.
No. So at the end of that, I hate the guys who won. I hate the faces who lost. That segment did nothing for me. It was a waste. It was a waste of time.
Yeah.
Throw to Goldilocks in the back. Goldilocks is hollered at by the Dupp brothers, Stand Up and Bo Dupp.
I'm just gonna say this in case you didn't say it at the beginning.
What?
The booker is Vince Russo. In case you never.
I don't
mentioned
think
that.
I ever mentioned
Vince
that. No.
Russo is coming up with
is
all
the head
these
booker.
names.
Yes, yes. Stand Up and Bo Dupp, known at this time as the Dupps. They are a pre-WWE OVW wrestlers, as well as ECW wrestlers. Again, I'm guessing way at the end when nobody cared. Stand Up, Trevor Murdoch, and Bo Dupp, Otto Schwanz.
Oh, he was somebody else. I've never noticed that guy.
Oh, you've heard of Otto Schwanz?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've never heard of either names. But
So,
I know Trevor Murdoch.
they are accompanied by, later on, Fluff Dupp, a.k.a. Seven Briggs.
AKA both their girlfriends.
And their
AKA
cousin. Yeah.
Their cousin.
Yeah. As we get into this segment, Stan asks Goldilocks if she wants to make some money. She says, sure. And Stan picks her nose and she's like, never mind. She has to go, but they're like, oh, we're going that way anyway. Come with us. And they meet Fluffed Up, Stan and Bo's cousin and girlfriend. Where it's his girlfriend, and she's my cousin, but she's my cousin and my girlfriend and her cousin.
But
and
they're brothers?
And we're also brothers and cousins.
There's only one of their cousins.
Right,
So
because
they
they
have
both
different
Dupps. And
parents in a way, but
it's like, yeah.
It's the South.
Vice President Bill Burns walks in. I forget. Is it Burns or Barons?
Barron sounds familiar.
It's Barron sounds more. Yeah, Bill Barron. Sorry, Bill. Vice President Bill Barons.
He's dead.
Shows up. I don't know that. He says, "Hey, we don't want any alcoholics. No getting drunk." And they're like, "You can't get drunk off of beer." Tell you what. And Goldilocks is like, "I gotta go. Segment length 1 minute and 5 seconds. All of these segments have about. I manually counted the time, so like I don't know, give or take 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah.
This certainly explained their characters.
It was, yeah.
It did.
It did, because that's what Vince Russo wanted as their character.
Yeah.
They are from the South.
Yeah.
You know, they drink beer.
Yeah.
They're poor intelligence.
Yeah.
They're picking their nose.
That's the thing.
Incest.
It's gross from every direction, which is the design of their gimmick.
And he called someone a wussy for not doing something.
Well, that was the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gross from every direction, which is the design of their gimmick. So, strangely enough, it works.
Yeah, that's what it was. There's nothing
I
more
hate
than that.
it, yeah.
They're not hiding anything.
Yeah. But at this point, I still have to see their in-ring work to see if it's pure go-away heat. Because if they're shit at wrestling, then it's going to be like, okay, just get the fuck out of here then. It is. Segment 9. In the ring, Baby Borash introduces the 1993 Busch Series Rookie of the Year, Hermie Sadler, no pop, and current NASCAR Winston Cup points leader, Sterling Martin, arguably largest pop of the night.
Of the entire night, since they're, like, ever, when they're in this arena.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nothing in the future will ever beat this.
Show's over, top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is when you remember that they're in the South.
Yeah.
This promo.
We get I'm guessing that's because it's not front row, so it's probably pre-plant. We get a Sterling Martin is my hero sign.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
If you want.
This is something that made me laugh, which is, again, more fan shenanigans, which is before when he was like, please welcome to the ring in 1993, and just standing there announcing.
Yeah.
A fan realized he was on hard cam and positioned himself to lick Jeremy Borash.
I missed that. Oh,
So
I wish
great.
you could have saw that one.
So Tenay says, oh, he's the NASCAR's version of the heavyweight champion. West points out that Sterling lives in...
Wrestling is obsessed with making analogies.
Yeah, you got to
to
know
what they are.
who they are.
Just like what what's his name? Ricky the Dragon Steamboat did that with almost every sport in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the Stanley
It's the
Cup.
Super
It's
Bowl
the
and
World Series. It's the one at Wimbledon. He did tennis. He did all of them. The tennis one threw me for a loop. I was like, someone told you that. You have no idea what Wimbledon is. Or I don't even know how to say it.
Wimbledon. West points out that Sterling lives about an hour away. So he's sort of a hometown hero.
Sort of.
That's kind of like me. I live an hour away from New York City. So I'm from New York City.
Yep. That's what I've always said.
Borash asks Sterling questions about, or Sterling, sorry. Asks Sterling. I'm so used to saying Rod Sterling. That's why.
Sturges.
He asked him about the next race and his feelings about it. And Sterling boom-howers his way through the fans hooting and hollering over his answer. Like, so what do you think about the race that's going to... Well, I tell you, we're going to probably go ahead and go, we got a point lead now. We're going to keep the point lead. We're going to go ahead and win some more matches, keep together, and keep the pace up, keep the faith up. We'll go ahead and win it.
Everything about this is South.
Yeah.
This is where you get really reminded. Like, the beginning, you're like, all right, this is just wrestling. It's indie stuff. But then you're like, oh, this is in the South. And it's, like, targeted towards the South.
Yes. Personal pop of the night for me. K-Crush interrupts. Oh, yes.
The best, if no one is familiar with Ron Killings of this
Oh my
era,
gosh.
you need to become familiar with this.
Yes.
Because this is the best version of Ron Killings that you have ever seen. Nothing like R-Truth, even close.
It's better than that.
Nothing
Way
like
better.
R-Truth.
Yeah. K-Crush interrupts saying they can't wrestle and shouldn't be in the ring. K-Crush says he is an athlete
Yes!
and his kind are athletes. Sterling and Hermes' kind drive cars around a circle in a left motion continuously.
All right.
His kind...
It could be like he's being racist. It could just be like wrestlers against race car drivers. It doesn't need to be racist yet.
His kind throw basketballs, throw touchdowns, run for touchdowns. They do arm drops. They do leg drops. His grandmother can do what they do.
All right, so maybe he's talking about one specific race of people and not just a wrestler.
Hermes Sadlers gets a big pop for getting on the mic and saying, "Why don't you shut up for just 1 second?"
Yay!
Yeah. Followed by another one for saying Crush isn't dressed like an athlete.
Oh, yeah. You look like a real athlete. I love the 3-syllable athlete. It gets me every time. Athlete.
He then says, "I know there are NASCAR fans here in Huntsville, Alabama."
Habda.
Because that's how he pronounced Huntsville.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah, I know there's a big fan in Huntsville, Alabama.
What you said is verbatim what I heard every time. Habda.
And Huntsville, Alabama. Did you just say hovel? Do you guys live in a hovel? K-Crush says...
I'm sure you have NASCAR fans in every town if you make up the town name.
Right, yeah. K-Crush says, "Damn Hermes Sadler," and "Damn Alabama."
Oh.
Huge boos.
Yes, a big southern insult of
Yeah.
damning something.
Crush grabs Hermes Sadler by the neck, but out for the save, it's Brian Christopher. Huge atomic drop, super kick. Then Hermes and Sterling toss him out of the ring.
So the white NASCAR drivers are confronted by the black athlete.
Yep.
Who doesn't look like a real athlete
Nope.
because of how he's dressed and
Yes.
how he presents himself. He doesn't act like an athlete.
Arguably understandable.
So who comes to the save? Which wrestler would come to the save?
The most athletic and southern man possible.
And most likely very white.
Oh, Brian Christopher.
Doing his full too cool gimmick.
Yeah, his straight up, I'm gonna steal black culture gimmick. And dress in like with the cool goggles and talk about rap and yo, what's happening, my
I was waiting to be like, see, this is a real athlete right here. And just be like, well, this is like 100% about race now.
Yeah. So Jerry Lawler Jr. gets on the mic and he says, "My kind versus your kind, right here, right now." Yeah, next week I'm gonna fight you in a match.
Oh, and then he remembered.
Yeah, he remembered.
It's not live every week.
Yeah.
Whoops. My favorite part is the way he presented it, because if you weren't watching it, if this was all audio, you have Ron Killings come out and you listen to him, and you're like, all right, I'm pretty sure I know what's going on. Right. I can paint a picture. And then he comes out and goes, "Oh yeah, well how about your kind? Give me some dog." Fights my kind, give me some dog. And I'm just like, how is this any better than what Ron Truth was just doing?
Yeah, this
It's
is
the same
bad.
exact
It's very uncomfortable. He does the big clap it up, clap the crowd up.
Oh, yeah.
Clap him up, and then I gotta leave. See ya.
Yeah, they
Gotta
start
leave.
clapping his beat, and then his music plays, which is a completely different beat. And
Yeah.
they all get thrown off how to clap. And so he just leaves, just so he does not associated with this moment.
So, cue the dancing girls, obviously. Segment length, 4 minute, 32 seconds. Thoughts? Racist, right?
Very racist. I tried to defend it, but they both went out of their way to make sure it was white people against black people.
Yeah. Dude, Brian Christopher.
And the worst person to defend it.
Everything about him just seems like a guy who is currently failing at conning me. Everything he says, I'm like, I know you're playing a character right now, right? And badly, like very badly.
You're not fooling anybody.
Yeah, but this is who I am. No, I know you're a very bad character, but I can tell that, and it's awful. Stop it.
Exactly.
Segment 10, backstage.
The backstage attempted murder?
Jeff Jarrett is choking Jackie Fargo, screaming, "I want you to remember who did this to you. I want you to remember, Fargo. It was your next NWA champion." Segment length, 12 seconds.
Yes, 12 seconds, because the camera doesn't, like, guerrilla style, like, is peeking around a corner.
No.
It doesn't run up to them. It is already,
It is there.
like, centered on their faces, not far away.
The choking is already happening.
He has him against a cage, and he's like 2 inches or maybe 4 inches from his face, saying that, "I want you to remember who did this for you," while they're surrounded by a cameraman and like 14 referee personnel.
It's ridiculous.
It was so great.
Yeah.
It was my favorite segment.
Best segment of the night, easily.
I want you
Everything
to
it needed to do, it did. It didn't waste any time. It was entertaining.
It was storytelling.
Everything about it was amazing.
Jackie Fargo screwed him over in the beginning. In another promo backstage, he was kicking shit because he was pissed off.
Right.
And he was like, "You're going to regret this day."
Mm-hmm.
And then he's backstage trying to kill him.
Choke him,
He was going to regret this day. Look at that story they told in an hour.
Why is that so hard for everyone else to do? I don't get it. Following contest is one fall. Borash botches by saying their combined weight of 200, rather 454 pounds.
Both of them.
Yeah.
100 pounds each.
Wow. This X Division is getting extreme. Christian York and Joey Matthews versus the Dups, Stan and Bo with Fluff. York and Matthews are WCW and WF tag wrestlers that never quite made it, but started out at the Hardy Boys promotion of Omega, and they were the original 3 count, known as Bad Street Boys, with them, Christian York, Joey Matthews, and Shannon Moore and Shane Helms. The commentators immediately explain the joke. Get it? Stand up, bowed up.
Yeah, I was going to say that. In case you didn't get it, they will immediately tell you and explain it
There
to
it
you.
is. And then they say, these guys are really dumb, right? These guys are dumb. They're very dumb.
I will say my favorite line was, "Must be some family tree. Yeah, I bet it looks like a stump."
There's sometimes where Ferrara is good, and there's other times where it's like, Ferrara, you can't be here. You have to go. So Fluff distracts by yelling at York and Matthews, and the Dups attack from behind as the bell rings. This is interesting. York hits a dual drop kick on both of the Dups, and then Matthews comes in, and they hit a double team suplex on one of the Dups.
Rock and Roll Express style.
Stan counters eventually with a full Nelson slam. This tells you exactly where the talent of the team is, which is he tags in Bo. Bo comes in, does a big boot, does a standing frog splash, tags out.
He does gimmick work in between, doesn't he? Does he like pick his nose and
he does that?
He's picking his wedgie.
But you don't. It's like I got that when you came out, and they're not focusing the camera on it.
Yeah.
So it's just like
it's really bad.
Good for you guys.
They only gave him like 3 minutes to do shit anyway.
Yeah. Matthews reverses, hits his Hangman's neck breaker, aka the Virginia necktie. And I didn't write it down, but I'm guessing gets a 2 or something like that. I don't know. Hot tag to York. Jumping lariat. Top rope 10 punch on Bo is interrupted with a back elbow to Stan. A standing senton that York calls the cutting edge on Bo is broken up at 2 by Stan. Matthews takes Stan out of the ring with a crossbody, and the ref is so preoccupied with them that he does not see Fluff push York on the top rope, making him crotched up, according to Ferrara. Yeah. And Bo gets the 3.
Can you really do that every week? Is that what your plan is? Are you going to come up with a pun for every finish?
I don't think you can do it. Match ends. We see them walking up the ramp, and then we cut to the girls. Match length, 3 minutes, 42 seconds. Yeah, joke falls flat with me. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like Stan's pants. Did you notice his pants?
You'd have to explain who Stan and who Bo is. Which
Stan-
one is Trevor Murdoch?
Stan.
Okay. No. Is it?
He
did he
had-
have the? Was it
He's
ripped
wearing
jeans?
Oh, you wish it was ripped. He is wearing jean shorts cut into strips to make it look like he has tassels.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, those little strips
It
of
was
denim.
awful.
Horrible.
Bo missed every single one of his cues by just a millisecond. So there was that moment of hesitation.
Yeah.
Which
And he oversells a lot.
Yeah. Which the thing is, moment of hesitation, it's arguably fine, but not when you're trying to perform total nonstop action.
Yeah.
That little hesitation speaks volumes, and it's very clear, and it's unfortunate with that.
Yeah, it was a very low indie style feeling of a match. It
Right.
was, they tried to do all the high spots, but like you said, there was some hesitation. It wasn't as clean as it should be, so it just looked like they were trying, but they weren't really doing anything.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
it was a 3-minute quick crap match.
Yeah. So far, which wait, what was that? Yeah. So far, which is arguably the entire show, the bulk of the show, has had a very we just came from the indies feel.
Yeah.
We just got off the indies and we're not really sure what we're doing. We're used to a smaller crowd. We're used to, we come out, we do our thing. One guy yells, I can hear him, I can call him out on it. We move on. Nobody's used to this play to the back row.
Yeah.
Ignore all the little shit because nobody else hears it. It doesn't matter type
Mhm.
stuff. It's all very new and
Yeah.
very young. This is what we get. Arguably the worst segment because it's a paid for sponsor segment, which is segment 12, the Country Music Awards Male Vocalist of the Year Toby Keith music video segment.
How do you like me now?
Yes, the song is How Do You Like Me Now, which is about I showed you for doubting me and my dreams because I achieved them and now your life is crap.
Not that I'm on my way.
Yeah.
I liked it. It got stuck in my head slightly.
It wasn't a bad song. It absolutely was not a bad song. But I was just listening to it going like, is your life good? Because it sounds like you went through a lot of things and you're still obsessing over her.
Yeah, I didn't
Like, you might need to move on.
They showed the music video, and it was a very generic country music video where he's singing to a girl, even though he's singing to the camera.
Yeah.
He's not looking at her.
No.
And she's just like, I don't want anything to do with this,
Right.
but I'm not going to walk away. I'm just still going to stand within like 4
Mhm.
feet so I can hear you sing.
I'm
And they're in an empty like high school football stadium for some reason.
I think college, but yeah.
Still, I don't know why these 45-year-olds are hanging around this empty
Well, I mean,
football
in real
stadium.
life, it was like his alma mater or something like that, but I don't know the
Why is he
beginning.
going?
I don't know the beginning of the music video to know what the story was.
I thought you were a professional.
I don't care. Whatever. So the segment fully played for 1:15, and then it immediately bled into the next segment where in the ring, Baby Borash says, "Here's Toby Keith," and he's on the entranceway to sing his quote, "the most popular song in America, courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, the Angry American." In parentheses is the name of the.
Which is not the song you just heard. in the
No,
music
it's
video.
he's singing a different song. This song is all about the flag and freedom and family, and we bombed the fuck out of you because of it.
Yeah, you remember when the South got really mad and aggressive when 9/11 happened? This is that.
This is it a year later. Still going strong. I looked it up. Not the number one song in America, obviously. No. The number one song, according to Billboard, was Foolish by Ashanti. That was the number one for that week. And
Foolish.
this song, Red Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, reached its Billboard peak
Oh no. Oh no.
of 25
Ooh. Top 25. Okay, you can say that.
August 3rd. So later on. It didn't
Oh,
even
not
get there
yet.
Not yet, no.
It was still
Yeah.
on the rise to 25.
Yeah. It was the number one song in country in July.
It was number one in Homely Alabama.
Yeah. So he does this for 2 minutes and 4 seconds until Jarrett comes out pushing him and the microphone out of the way mid-song.
The biggest pop Jeff Jarrett has ever gotten from me personally
amazing.
was stopping him from singing. And I was like, thank God,
Yes.
because what was that? He was singing for like 4 minutes up there?
2 minutes.
That was it?
2 minutes.
No.
Yeah.
It was longer. It
No,
felt longer.
It was 2 minutes.
Ugh.
He sang for 2 minutes, and then if you add on top of it the music video, technically it was 3 minutes and I lost the time. 3 minutes and 20 seconds of Toby Keith singing.
That felt way longer.
Yeah.
Way longer. Oh. He was
So,
just like
But again, Jarrett doubled down on it because he understands wrestling. He gets in the ring and he goes, "Nobody wants to hear you sing, Toby Keith." Boo! Because everyone wanted to hear it. No one wants to hear you sing, Toby. Get the hell out of here. It's time for me to win my world title.
And he's doing my favorite 2-finger point. That power move. Pointing at people with
Right.
those 2 fingers. No one wants to hear you. No one wants any of this.
Nothing. And
I love it.
the way I feel is Toby Keith is not a wrestler, so it's fine. But Jeff Jarrett is a wrestler. So he completely steals Hardcore Holly's gimmick when he says, "Hey, Toby, how do you like me now?"
I love it.
After the fight, Toby is just like, "Oh, I'm on the entranceway. You're a punk. I'm gonna," and people be pushing him back. That lasts for about 1:20. From the music video.
See, this is why I felt like it lasted so long.
From the music video until the end, 5 minutes and 40-second segment.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
But still, like, you need to take away a minute of time from that Jarrett segment and put it towards Toby Keith. It didn't feel like Jarrett was that long. Toby Keith went on forever.
That was the time I got.
What was he singing about?
What do you
He
mean?
was singing about, like, the Statue of
America.
Liberty,
Yeah.
like, giving people the finger.
Yeah, it was
and
about
he wanted to,
don't
like,
mess with America.
make people lick his boot,
Yeah.
shove him into the ground. And
The angry American. It was about angry Americans and being fed up.
So
And a little old lady was shaking her fist.
yeah, it was so much
And
like
the Statue
Southern.
of
Oh my god,
Liberty started to cry.
it was dead silent.
But we bombed your ass like
Yep.
the 4th of July.
Dead silent. Some ambient noise. They hear the word bomb. Yeah!
That's what it was, yeah. But yo, I love segments like this. I fucking love them. Where you have wrestlers or even non-wrestlers come out and do this legitimate, heartfelt, emotional thing, playing a song for 2-3 minutes, playing a song, and people are like, "He's really playing this song, okay?"
Yeah,
And I
it's just
like
what it
this
is.
song, and they're like, "Yeah, red, white, and blue, yeah," and then boom, the heel comes out and goes, "Fuck this! This is not wrestling. I'm the great." It takes the fans to a point of emotional peak where they're like, yeah, and then, "Oh, this is a show. That's right. You son of a bitch."
Some people are good at getting themselves over, and some people
good.
are really good at making people hate them. That's what Jeff Jarrett was good at.
Make those people hate you. So we go to segment 14. This is when Don West finally starts chiming in. I know it's not much, but this is when I'm like, "Oh, I forgot Don West was actually on commentary
Yeah, he went to the bathroom.
for 9 segments." Because this is segment 14.
Yeah, well, this is all new to him.
So
He's like, "Where are the knives? How do I sell this?"
I'm gonna go sell merch. I'll be back. So yeah, ding ding ding. Here we go. The following contest is a gauntlet battle royal, and it is. Oh, here we go.
Oh, he's already
Because before he can finish the announcements, Buff Bagwell, WCW's Buff Bagwell, starts running out. Bagwell tosses Jarrett around for 30 seconds, hits the blockbuster, and then Bagwell gets tossed out by Jarrett.
You start off with Jeff Jarrett and Buff Bagwell, and I'm like, "Oh wow, this is gonna be something."
Yeah,
This
that's
is
what I
gonna be
thought.
something. And because this is Buff Bagwell we're talking about here. He was in WCW since the beginning until
Right.
the end.
Yeah.
He showed up for a cup of coffee in WWE, and they got rid of him. But he was on WWE,
No, he was, yeah.
and then
He was somebody.
he was a jobber.
Yeah, he was.
He
full
was
job.
he had as much significance, if not less, because the second person who came out had a little more time than him.
Yeah, because it's a lot of you wait some time, and then number 3, Lash LaRue comes out, the Raging Cajun from the Misfits in Action in WCW.
Again, Tanay says my favorite line. Oh, you remember him?
Yeah, that's the how much does this guy weigh
Yeah.
of this? Yeah, you remember him?
This was a WCW Battle Royal, by
Yeah.
the way.
So Lash LaRue comes out. He has to duck under a camera cable in order to get in the ring, and he is thrown. Yeah, I know. And he is thrown out of the ring 8 seconds afterwards, but it's through the ropes, so he's still in.
Yep.
Jarrett follows. He uses the guardrail, throws him back in, hits the stroke, tosses Lash LaRue out with 40 seconds to spare, but they only wait 20 seconds before they send out number 4, former WCW Hardcore Champion, master of the Big Wiggle, Norman Smiley. He immediately does his signature dance, which Tanay calls the Big Wiggle, which is not the Big Wiggle.
Okay,
It's
that
just,
was my question.
It's just a dance that
What
he does.
is the wiggle?
It's that like fake fuck move that he does.
That's the wiggle.
That's the wiggle.
Because that's what he was gonna do.
Yeah, but Tanay apparently doesn't know that, and he was like, "Oh, there he goes with a move." And then when he does the dance, he's like, "There's the Big Wiggle." No,
Yeah, 'cause
that's
he-
not what that is.
Because
Tanay.
he does wiggle his body around like a worm, but that's not the wiggle.
No, it's not. It's not.
as confusing it is.
If anything,
but
it
I
is
thought
art-
I
it
thought
is-
his finisher was also called the wiggle.
No, his finisher, which is he never wins a match, so it's that bend the guy over on the ropes and do the butt smack. While you
Yeah.
pretend- that's the Big Wiggle.
Oh, so it's like the worm. It's all just
No,
show.
No,
And-
because at the end of the worm, he chops the guy in the throat.
well, he's smacking the guy in the ass. That could hurt. What if he's got hemorrhoids?
What if he got yeah?
Yeah, that would hurt.
Then giving him an atomic drop, like.
Okay.
So he comes out, he does his dance, pays for it, but he follows up with his big swinging scoop slam that he does. It's beautiful. And he attempts the Big Wiggle, but Jarrett cuts him off, throws him out. They actually wait for the time to run out this time.
Yeah, he had him leaned over the ropes. He was acting like he was going to give it to him from behind.
Yep.
But Jeff Jarrett got out instead, gave him the stroke.
This is what this company's going to be.
It's just a lot of
In case you didn't know.
innuendos there.
In case you didn't know. Oh, really? You're surprised that TNA has innuendos?
Listen,
Genuinely?
I wish there was a counter, but there has been more dick innuendos than tits and ass innuendos.
Yeah, I know.
The entire show, and the entire company probably.
No, but it's because women are objects. They're not people worth mentioning. So number 5, IWA champion Apollo.
You look at the women, you don't talk.
You don't talk about him, no. He actually gives Jarrett a little bit of trouble, tossing over the top rope twice, but Jarrett hangs on both times. Apollo goes to press Jarrett out of the ring, but pauses and waits for the next person who's supposed to cut him off.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But it waits, but it's too long. Like he did it too early. I say he did it too early, and he has to drop it because the next person out is K-Quick, K-Crush, Ron Killings. K-Crush is his name. Who is a phenomenal athlete, so there's no way he took too long to get to the ring. He definitely did that spot too early.
He's faster than anyone in the company.
There-
If anyone does watch this and Apollo comes out and they're just like, how do I not know who Apollo is? Who was he? Because he is a
He's
phenomenal.
Apollo. He's Grand Apollo. That's the only other name you know him by.
This
is
was
Grand
the first
Apollo.
and only time I've ever saw him.
He was in
TNA.
WCW. He was at the end of
He was in
WCW as Grand Apollo. But again,
Okay.
it's like the same thing. Oh, James Storm was in WCW. Yeah, at the end on one
Okay.
Nitro, and you don't recognize.
That's
it's the
why.
same thing. Yes, he was in it, but think about the end of WCW. Think about how often they did lucha matches, and then think about how many luchadors they had.
Yeah.
so you
it's hard to
probably
lose
saw
him
this guy
in the
once,
shuffle. Yeah.
twice.
Well, Apollo isn't a luchador. That's why I was going to say this. How you didn't recognize him because Apollo's like 6'4" and like
Doesn't
245 pounds. He's a big dude.
but he's from that area, so he's going to be stuck with all the other luchadors, and thus.
But he works like a luchador. He's really light.
So yeah. K-Crush comes out.
Oh, yes. K-Crush comes out to save Jeff Jarrett from getting eliminated because heels save heels because heels.
Yes, yeah. I don't really pay attention to that because I'm just like, oh my god, like I know this is the past, but come the fuck on, guys, really? K-Crush is punching Apollo in the corner. He's doing a 10 punch to him like that, and Don West goes, hey, welcome to America, Apollo. Apollo is Puerto Rican, and Puerto Ricans have been American citizens since 1917. Okay.
And as you just mentioned, he's been working in WCW.
He's been working in WCW. And not only that, before he was a wrestler, he played basketball and represented Puerto Rico internationally in Madison Square Garden.
So he represented us where he was from. Jesus Christ. Don West, one of a kind.
Like, it's
can
just one of
sell
those
it
things
all.
where I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Could sell any product except himself.
Fuck, yo, Apollo's more American than you, Don West.
Yeah.
Fuck you. So despaite the double team by Jarrett and K-Crush, Apollo gets the upper hand just as number 7, Disciple of the New Church, accompanied by Minister James Mitchell, Slash, a.k.a. USWA and WWF's PG-13 member, Wolfie D, a former OVW wrestler as well. But Apollo has no trouble with him. Don West mentions James Mitchell has a church, but it's not the one that you go to on Sundays. And I immediately go, oh, so he's Jewish, huh? Because, other denominations practice on days that aren't a Sunday. Fucking Don West. Oh, my God, Don.
There's only one church in this world.
Yo! So Apollo goes to eliminate Slash, but what happens?
Heels save heels
That's
because
right.
heels.
And Slash stops Jarrett. Or stops, Jarrett from being eliminated. Even the commentators question this.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, even the commentators are like, what the fuck? Number 8 is, oh my God! Could it be? Yes, it is not Scott Steiner, is in fact USWA wrestler and former bodybuilding champion Del Rios. He has completely stolen, stolen Scott Steiner's look.
I can't even honestly say that he got me for the first few seconds because they announced him before he came out.
Yeah.
So when he came out, I was just like, did they announce the wrong name?
Right.
Because that's obviously Scott Steiner.
Yeah. It got the crowd though, because when
It was a huge pop.
Because everyone, when it happens, when he comes out, the crowd pops. You can see them physically stand up, but when you see them, they stand, they go,
yeah, people are like trying
What
to
is that?
fight people to look at the entranceway. Like, who is this Scott Steiner? I see
and
him.
you can physically see all their faces turn to confusion.
Yeah,
Everyone immediately boos.
he had the blonde hair.
Yep.
He was jacked. The purple, like, short biker shorts they have. And he had the Superman logo on the back.
On the back.
Why would you
Yeah.
have the Superman logo on the back?
Yeah.
Oh, and he had the goatee
He had
with
a little, the gold blonde goatee with the black soul patch. Yeah.
You know what you were doing.
He totally ripped it off. Yeah. Everyone starts booing. I'm not sure if I'm over exaggerating, but I'm almost positive when he gets in the ring, everyone in the ring stops what they're doing and looks at him as if to go, what the fuck? And then attack him.
I noticed that. Everyone immediately went for him.
Everyone's
Just
like,
beat him up
yo,
in the corner.
kick this shit. This guy does not belong here.
It was like all heels. Maybe Apollo helped
Yeah.
too. I was like, oh, they're all friends now.
Everyone was like, yo, fuck this. No, this guy. Like, I hate you because you're a good guy and you hate. No, we hate this guy because he's fucking the business. Like, it was bad.
I could be wrong. I think Steiner was booked.
Oh, and they put him instead?
I think he bailed, and that was
they-
Russo's idea. I could be wrong, but I think I remember that being Russo's idea because he didn't like Steiner.
If that was the case, they should have went a step farther and said that. They should have said, this was supposed to be Scott Steiner, but he bailed at the last second,
yeah.
and we replaced him with his best option available. And then it would be like,
Dick.
oh, I fucking get it now. Now I'm a little bit okay with it because it's funny. But they didn't. So everyone attacks him. Del Rios immediately goes for his signature belly to belly, but Slash bites him in the neck.
Ferrara said he's got a familiar look,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
We finally, well, we already have been, but again, we go back to the story of the Battle Royal. Wait a minute! Is Apollo going to be eliminated? No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Number 9 is the 6'5", 350-pound from NWA Wildside, Justice, aka Baby Abyss.
No, we don't know that yet.
Tenay asks, well, how do you throw him out? And Ferrara says, very carefully.
What?
Why?
Why carefully?
He's not a leaky garbage bag.
very carefully.
You gotta throw him out real carefully. Don't rip it carefully. Throw that bag out carefully. Justice hits a can't quite reach big boot and another can't quite reach to Jarrett and another to not Scott Steiner, followed by a not yet black hole slam to a not Scott Steiner. Apollo he's gonna be eliminated, and then he's not. Number 10. This one genuinely surprised me. Number 10, Mexican superstar and former WCW wrestler Conan.
Yeah,
Genuine pop.
I popped.
Yeah.
Sitting there.
I
I
was
yeah!
shocked.
Which, by the way, scary individual.
Conan?
Especially right then and there. He was jacked beyond belief.
Yeah.
He has traps that look like he grew extra bones on top of his shoulders. They look ridiculous. He looked scary.
He comes in, signature rolling clotheslines to everyone. Orale! X Factor to Justice. Orale! Slash cuts him off. Wait a minute! Apollo's eliminated? Oh, no, he's not. He's back in. We go to number 11. ECW's Joel Gertner, a.k.a. the low-class genius.
Well, it's so bad that I recognize him just from the well.
Yeah. He does the raunchy poem and introduces Bruce, a.k.a. WCW's Kiwi.
Oh, yeah, that was his name. I remember. Oh,
The Kiwi is upset.
The Kiwi! Oh, shit.
He is
That's
one
right.
half of the Rainbow Express, which I think he's actually, like,
Which, again, was...
substitute for the Rainbow Express, so he's not even really part of them? I don't even know.
Oh, yeah, it used to be someone else, but they couldn't
it was
acquire
Lodi.
him.
It was Lodi and Lenny Lane.
Yeah.
And then
they couldn't
Lodi
get
was
him.
injured, so they got Bruce. So I don't know if Bruce is part of this team or if he's a replacement representing the team.
Yeah, he's
They
like...
didn't really explain. So, yeah, one half of the Rainbow Express is Bruce with Lenny Lane. They're gay, and that's weird. That's the whole gimmick.
Yeah, because they don't even, like, shove it down your throat.
No,
They're just like, no, they're just gay and they're just over there,
Yeah.
but we should, like, be weirded out by it.
it is
now.
weird. I'm weirded out for other reasons, like specifically physically how they look.
Oh, yeah, it's the same reason, like, It's Always Sunny, why they have a problem with Mac. We have no problem that you're gay. You're just, like, a sexual fiend.
You're
like,
weird,
gay
yeah.
or straight. You're just, like,
You're
why
just
are you
weird.
wearing all that stuff?
Yeah,
And-
well, you have like a bunch of face piercings and pigtails and a lollipop and also a full beard.
Yeah.
And then the other guy, Bruce, is tanned to the point where he somehow passed orange and went to like hot pink.
Yes, very weird color.
He has like platinum blonde hair, maybe regular blonde accentuated by his skin. I can't really
He
tell.
has Hulk Hogan's hair
Yeah.
from 1979.
Yes, yeah, silk
It's
skin.
just
yeah.
thinning on top,
It's-
but he still has it.
And then he also has this because his skin color seems so like juxtaposed. This sky blue trunks
yeah,
and tights or and knee pads, and then he's got the
rainbow
rainbow
design.
across
But it's
it.
not a rainbow because it's like only 3 colors.
Yeah,
It's
something
like
like
sky
that.
blue, pink, and yellow, or something like that.
Right, and then on top of his blue knee pads, he also has purple knee pads,
Oh gosh.
and then he's wearing a different shade of pink from his skin-colored boots.
Did you get it? He likes men.
I guess that's what that means.
That's what
Yo, honestly,
Russo thinks it
like
means.
I look at him with his pink skin and his bright blue tights and his blonde hair, and I'm like, you look like the generic section of like a supply store. Like I feel like you're the packaging on an eraser.
Yeah.
Like he comes out, Bruce is immediately laid out as the commentators ask, "Where's Lodi? Why is Bruce replacing him? When's Lodi coming back?" That lasts until number 12 comes out. The dog-faced gremlin, Scott Steiner. Again, one of the loudest pops of the night, and easily the loudest pop, well, excluding Conan, since Sterling Martin.
Yes.
So it's arguably this Conan, Rick Steiner, Sterling Martin.
This is actually Rick Steiner this time. This isn't a fake.
Yeah, it's not a fake Rick Steiner, it's the real Rick Steiner.
Which I was so sure that he was going to come in and beat the shit out of Del Rios.
Right, me too.
But I'm almost
guess-
positive they never touched once.
No, I'm not sure if they did. Steiner tosses Slash with a back body drop over his shoulder out of the ring. Next, Justice gets power slammed and clotheslined over the top.
Oh yeah, we start getting people out.
We
now.
start getting knocked out. Eliminated Justice, eliminated Slash. Steiner and Jarrett, they go, they just start working on each other. 13, disciple of the new church, Malice, aka WCW's The Wall.
I thought that was him.
He comes in and chokeslams everyone except for Jarrett and Steiner. Bruce, K-Crush, Del Rios, and Conan all eliminated by Malice.
Which was weird because I was like, all right, get rid of these dumb jabronis. And then he did it to Conan, and I was like, really? Conan is in that group?
Yeah, Conan, realistically, Conan should have been the clearer. He should have been the guy coming and clear everyone.
Yeah.
But then they stuck Rick in here, and I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I guess they did one of the smartest things they did since starting, and that's they put more stuff behind Malice because they were going to use him.
Right.
And Conan was just there for a one-off, so they want to give it to him.
That's okay.
Finally, being smart.
There you go.
But in the long run, spoiler alert, it didn't work out.
Thanks. So Steiner cuts him off and goes for a clothesline. But Malice ducks and pulls the ropes. Steiner's out. Is Apollo eliminated? No, he skinned the cat. He's back in.
Oh, that's... I'm pretty sure that's the start of his worst spot in the Battle Royal. That's Skin the Cat.
Number 14, the true outlaw of wrestling, Scott Hall.
Again, I'm going back to the original Midget Killer. Is there someone calling themselves the outlaw of wrestling that he has to be the true outlaw?
There must be.
Yeah. That's what Tenay says every time. He emphasizes it.
guess
He
so.
is the real outlaw. He's the true outlaw of professional. I'm like, who else calls themselves the outlaw that
I don't know.
you
Maybe
have to
like
emphasize?
maybe the Road Dogs going black. The outlaw.
Oh, the new
Road
age.
Dog-
I'm the real outlaw,
the
though.
true outlaw. Yeah,
That's
something
dumb.
like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
So-
I love that he comes out. He's like, yeah, he's wrestling here. Recently just left the WWF on mutual terms. And I was like, oh yeah, you
Oh,
sure
yeah?
about that? On mutual terms?
Yeah, it was mutual. He wanted to drink, and they didn't want drunk wrestlers in their ring.
So he's like,
So
I'll
what?
leave so I can keep drinking.
Okay,
and they're like,
I'll leave.
we agree.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
want you to leave if you're going to keep drinking.
Yeah. All right. So Scott Hall comes out. Yo, Mike Tenay immediately is like, oh, yeah, here's Scott Hall, former tag team and intercontinental champion. Never been a world champion, though. It's like, why remind that? Thanks for letting us know he's not a contender in this.
So he wants it just a little bit more than everyone else because he's never gotten it.
Didn't say that, though.
That's what he's implying somehow.
Scott Hall goes for a house of fire, but there's only 3 people in the ring, and one of those people is on the top rope.
Yes, this is my favorite spot.
So it's awful because
Malice gets thrown out of the ring as Scott Hall music hits. So
Yeah.
he's coming out, and as you hear his music, you see Apollo skin the cat, and then they have to pan to Scott Hall. So Scott Hall's coming out, and then they pan back to the ring. You see Apollo jump up to the top rope, and he's standing up there at the top rope. And the other 2 guys, was it Malice and Jarrett?
Yeah.
And they're like either fighting or waiting for Scott Hall. And of course Apollo's there behind them. Scott Hall comes in, he starts punching everyone. Punch you, punch you, punch you, punch you, punch you, punch you. Apollo's still up there, like, what am I gonna do?
waiting.
What am I gonna do now? And then, like you said, he's punching. He goes, all right, fuck this. I'm just gonna jump on Malice. Malice gets punched and sells.
Yeah.
So he's just like, I'm just gonna jump down. So he just jumps to the
Yeah.
middle of the ring, lands on his feet, and punches Malice in
Yeah.
the face. And that was his big move. That he was standing up there for like 40 to 60 seconds.
Awkward.
So bad.
It was so awkward, and it's not the end of awkwardness involving Scott Hall, unfortunately. Like, it keeps getting worse. Because then right after that, there's more miscommunication between Hall, which is he calls some sort of spot for Jarrett and then manhandles Jarrett like to the other side of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he went to toss him against the ropes, but because of the way he did it, Jarrett was like, I guess he's turning me around, and stopped. And then Hall stopped because he was waiting for him to run the ropes. So then Hall goes to push Jarrett the exact second that Jarrett goes, I guess I'll just fall into the ropes. So like Hall just barely pushes nothing.
Yeah.
He falls into the ropes, right? Jarrett bounces off the ropes, goes, I'll make this real fucking easy for him. He comes off the ropes, gut out. Full on gut out. Give me the kick, brother. Gut out. Hall goes, and covers up.
Oh, God. It's going at me.
And then there's another awkward second before finally I can see Jarrett go, just do it. And Hall kicks him, goes for the bomb.
The razor's edge.
Hits the outsider's edge. And he hits it. And then this is, again, more confusion because the clock counts down to 0 when number 15 should come out.
Yep.
And there's no announcement. But Toby Keith wanders to the ring dressed like he's finally going to clean out the garage this weekend.
And I'm pretty sure he has no music.
No.
But as he's like pretty much in the ring, they start using all the lights and make them yellow.
It was weird. It was real weird. It was very strange. Everything was off and
So
late.
he had lights, but he didn't have music.
So Keith hits honestly, a very beautiful standing stalling suplex on Jarrett.
It was the smoothest vertical suplex I've ever seen. I'm almost positive it was done by a wire act.
Yeah.
And something just lifted Jeff Jarrett up and he was holding it. It didn't make sense.
Like, no joke, legit. I saw him do that suplex and I was like, yo, am I going to see Toby Keith wrestle? I kind of want to see that.
Has he been training secretly for a few years?
I kind of want to see Toby Keith wrestle now.
And then I loved it because he did it and he got up and tried to act like he was like legit, like the boss. But he taunted him by doing a vertical suplex to no one. He was just like pantomiming the motion of him doing
like, yeah, that's what I did to
Yeah,
you.
I did that thing with the suplex.
Yeah.
That's what I just did. I was like, yeah, there you go. That made yourself look cool.
Then Scott Hall and Toby Keith both eliminate Jeff Jarrett. Toby Keith goes through the ropes and follows Jeff Jarrett. So technically he's not eliminated, I
Was
guess?
he in the match?
That must be the answer, because otherwise he'd still be in it.
Because he didn't come out when the timer came up, right? It was like a couple seconds after?
It was like he missed his cue, but yeah, it was, yeah. So I don't know what the story was there. But this is so sad that Scott Hall has been wrestling for like 30 years and Jeff Jarrett struggles with a spot through him.
Oh, which
But
spot?
Toby Keith
that one.
never wrestled in his life.
No problem.
Jarrett made him look like $1 million. He made him look like $1 million, but he couldn't do anything with Scott Hall.
Well,
he tried to give everything to Scott Hall, and Scott Hall was like,
yeah. Scott Hall's drunk, and Scott Hall's not going to take direction. Toby Keith is just going to be like, tell me what to do. So Jarrett being the heel is going to be like, yeah, I'll tell you what to do. And he was
I hated it. Hall and Apollo trade chops with Malice until number 16, former member of WCW's R&B security, Chris Harris enters.
Chris Harris was in it?
Yeah, he was part of the R&B security.
No, he was in the Battle Royal?
Yeah, he was in the Battle Royal.
Really? Oh, Chris Harris. Oh.
Who are you thinking of? James Storm?
No, wait, the Harris brothers?
No. Chris Harris. Am I not saying his name?
Wildcat Chris Harris.
Yeah, Wildcat Chris. Yeah.
They were in AMW.
AMW, yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking of the Harris brothers. There's too many Harris guys. Is he related to the Harris brothers?
No.
Are you
I
sure?
don't think so, no. Whatever. He comes in, hits a Luthez press. 20 seconds later, number 17 comes out, and it's the Vampire Warrior, a.k.a. WWF's Gangrel. He enters and stomps some people.
Now, the WWF in me is saying that Toby Keith beat up Vampire Warrior, tried to steal his spot, then changed his mind, and then Vampire Warrior, when he recovered, just ran out when he could.
Right?
That's what I feel
Is
like
that what
happened.
that means?
That's what I feel like. That's the WWF screaming.
That's what I got out of that. Yeah, Toby Keith attacked the Vampire Warrior and took his spot. Okay.
Yeah. But he's Toby Keith, so he didn't beat him up too much.
Right.
And he's a vampire, so he just
Oh,
back.
no, it's... You're thinking of the 1999 WWF, and you're not thinking of like the 2000 WWF where it's like, oh, he put a golf cart in front of his dressing room. And he was like, let me out! Oh, I got a match! Let me out!
And he finally did.
And then referees were like, what do we do? I don't know. Do you have the keys? I don't have the keys. Oh my God, where are the keys? End segment. So, yeah. Gangrel comes out, starts stomping some people who are already down. Will Apollo be eliminated? No.
Oh, I was so sure that time.
Everyone just starts trading punches. Everyone. Number 19, Dangerous Devin Storm, a.k.a. WCW's Crowbar. As we know, he enters. As we notice, James Mitchell is whispering something to Malice. Yeah, he's like, "Come here."
Remember that? Yeah.
I'm like, what the? Chris Harris and Crowbar trade chops in the corner as other wrestlers just kind of watch.
Yeah.
Vampire Warrior tries to join in to cover up, but Scott Hall literally just sits at the top rope. He just goes, I'm already doing nothing and watching. I'll just sit down on the top rope and chill. 19. From the Indies, the king of old school, Steve Corino.
Hey, another guy I knew, finally. And that isn't old.
Yeah. He eventually comes in because he takes his time and hits the Okani kick, a.k.a. the face wash boot.
Oh, he had probably the best spots of the whole Battle Royal. I loved everything he did.
He was one of the top indie guys.
He was great.
He was the future.
All his spots were great.
Other side of the ring, Malice is over the top rope, but James Mitchell pushes him back in right before he falls.
Strong man.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. Tenay complains about that, but Don reminds him that if that's illegal, then what Toby did is also illegal.
So he's not in the match.
Or he is. I don't know.
But then why? Because he just came in and suplexed them?
Yeah, so that means he's not in the match then, yeah. Okay. So then
what happened to Vampire Warrior?
Yeah, I don't know. Number 20, the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock, a.k.a. WWF's Ken Shamrock.
I'm pretty sure when he made his debut at the start of the show, Tenay freaked out, but didn't know what to say. He was like, "Oh yeah, Ken Shamrock from the Ultimate Fighting, the Super Fighter Champion.
He's the fight guy. The fight guy's here, Mr. Fight,
Mr. Fight, Ken Shamrock, Mr. Fight." Oh, those sideburns. Oof.
So he takes everyone out with a single kick, jumping knee to Malice, who catches him and slams him. The 8 remaining men are grouped up in their individual corners.
Which one? The knee? The second knee?
Well, yeah, there was 2, but I don't care. I'm moving.
Yeah. Well, because the first knee I think he was supposed to catch, because he just didn't throw a knee at him. He kind of just threw his hip at him, like if someone was supposed to catch you, like they missed you in a long time. They're like, "Catch me!" And he just kind of jumped on him, and he didn't pick his arms up. And then he did the same, finger quotes, knee again, and caught him.
So out comes number 21 by my count, because Toby Keith was 15. Jerry Lawler Jr., a.k.a. Brian Christopher, a.k.a. a member of WWF's Too Cool. He eliminates...
That white athlete.
Yeah, that white athlete. He eliminates Chris Harris, Devin Storm, Vampire Warrior, and Steve Corino back-to-back.
Damn.
But Malice gives Christopher a chokeslam.
And he's done.
Yeah. James Mitchell whispers something to Malice. Shamrock, Malice, Hall, and Apollo square off, and Malice goes to stop them and point to Brian Christopher as the weak spot, but Shamrock jumps the queue and grabs him and tosses him out before that happens.
Yep.
He was still raising his hand to point to him, and Shamrock already had his hands on him and was tossing him out of the ring. I was like, okay, that's what you get for trying to have a dramatic spot.
Everyone's doing their own thing.
Apollo runs at Malice, and Malice just kind of ducks and tosses him out. Boop! Toss him out. Apollo's gone. Hall stalks Malice, but Hall is being stalked by Shamrock. Hall goes for the outsider's edge, but Malice counters, tossing him out and ending the Gauntlet Battle Royal, starting the World Heavyweight singles match.
I gotta say, I did not expect Malice to be the last one in there.
I didn't either, but when you think about it, it's like, yeah, but who else are they going to
I was okay with it, because I was like, you guys need to make someone.
Yeah.
You need to make someone.
Yeah.
But I was just like, with all the people that are coming out, Scott Hall being in there,
right?
I didn't see it coming.
No,
Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah. The Battle Royal was, it's all right. Battle Royals are always weird. The spots that they planned did not work out. They really didn't plan.
I don't know one that did.
No.
I'm pretty sure everyone had something planned and you didn't see any of it, but everyone had something planned. Like Crowbar and Vampire Warrior, I'm pretty sure had a whole story they were working, but you never saw it once. They met each other in the ring, and they were both like, "I like your style." And they both started working with each other. And then something, I think with Malice or Jarrett happened where they miscommunicated and they hit each other instead. And then they started fighting, and that's what eliminated them. I had to watch it twice to see that.
Yeah.
Because why would the camera be on them?
You had to watch it twice and look for it.
Yeah.
So Ricky Steamboat enters. Baby Borash announces this is a no time limit NWA heavyweight title match. Ricky Steamboat is the special referee. Bing, bing, bing. Malice takes control early on, dominates for 2 to 3 minutes. goes for a choke slam, and Shamrock locks in an armbar. Malice, this is why he's not the champion. Malice, both from a booking and a wrestling perspective, Malice accidentally taps out twice while trying to sell the move.
Whoops.
But he gets to the ropes.
Was he just like angrily slapping the mat?
Yeah, but he doesn't punch. He's like, ah!
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I've seen people do that a lot too. Coming from a referee's standpoint, it's usually 3 taps. 3 hits to the mat is a tap out. So that's what I always look for. If someone hits it twice, I'm like, I'm not gonna complain. That's whatever. 3 times.
He did it twice in a row though.
Yeah, that's something.
And then I'm almost positive the Steamboat was like, easy.
Yeah.
And then he did it again, and Steamboat was like, okay, this is what we're doing.
That's usually what I have to do too. I'm like, easy with what you're doing with your hand there, buddy. Don't just be slapping your hand down like that. It looks like you're tapping.
Big boot by Malice, but it's turned into an ankle lock. Malice accidentally taps again by selling.
And is this the point where he goes to the ropes and gets the rope break, and Steamboat starts counting at him?
Yeah.
And gets to what seemed to be a 7 count?
Yeah, before he like physically ripped him off.
I don't know what NWA rules are. I tried to look them up, but
yeah, I mean,
do you need a 10 count on the ropes?
Count. I don't know what that is. And if it's not, why was 7 the break-off point?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why was 7 the break-off point?
I think he just gave up. He was just like, all right, I start counting, and people let go of things. And he started counting, and it's not working. I got to just break them up physically.
This is the point in the match where I, as a viewer, go like, oh boy, gee willikers, I sure wonder who's going to win the world title. The guy who accidentally tapped out 4 times, or the guy who looks like he could kick a hole through a cow.
Yeah, and you've actually seen it before. Yeah. Well, maybe not the cow part, but...
So yeah, he grabs the ropes, pulls him back, Steamboat doesn't break it. And everyone, all 3 commentators, James Mitchell, and the crowd are like, what the fuck, Steamboat? Rope break! Rope break! Then he said, he gets, Malice grabs the ropes again. Steamboat does a slow 5 count, breaks it off at like 7, gets in Shamrock's face, pushes him off. Malice gets up, goes for a choke slam. Shamrock is belly to belly.
Of course. It's like the finish to every one of his matches. Look it up, literally.
1, 2, 3, new NWA Heavyweight Champion of the world, Ken Shamrock, your first ever total nonstop action champion.
Ooh.
Match length.
The pyro and everything.
Battle Royal, 31 minutes and 3 seconds. Title match, 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Full segment, 38 minutes and 23 seconds.
Damn. It's a long segment at the end.
40-minute segment? Yeah.
And I remember getting the winner and him doing his celebration and sneakily looking at the timestamp, and I was like, how is there still like 8 to like 10 minutes left of the show?
Right. This is the part where I have some problems and confusion with. But yeah, as far as my thoughts, again, I don't care for battle royals when they're not planned out the right way, because otherwise it's just a bunch of messing men going like, come over here and choke me for 5 minutes until I get thrown out. And it's like, oh, it was
definitely planned, but as you said, not the right way though.
Yeah, no, this was 100% a look what we have match. Yeah. They wanted to grade they wanted to gauge the fans' reactions and who's face and who's heel and see who they recognize and all that stuff, and that's what we got. It's 100% what we got.
We got a new champion.
Right.
We know what everyone does now, kind of. Because everything's going to change real quick.
Yeah.
Everything they just established.
Shamrock celebrates as Steamboat guides him to the hard cam. It's one of those things in wrestling that I see often, but it's always so like, it's just so, they do it so delicately, and it's so like, oh, where's the baby going? Where like, it's this big man just won a match, and the ref's like, he'll grab you by the wrist with one finger and like spin your body, and it's like, Jesus Christ, you shouldn't even notice that's happening to you, you mammoth of a beast.
That's a super drunk person at the bar, and their friend just like, they're like, yeah, I'm the great, we're gonna do this. Yeah, just go this way though. Walk over here. You're going into a supermarket. We're supposed to be going into the bar though.
What like, if I just push your body a little bit to the left,
yeah, just go
just walk to the left. You won't even know.
I understand you can walk, but you're not doing it right.
So commentary puts over both Shamrock and Malice. NWA Vice President Bill Behrens enters the ring and shakes Shamrock's hand. Ferrara calls Malice the Wall, and no one corrects him.
Oh, I missed that one.
And then says, fighting Shamrock or Malice is like running in the Special Olympics. You gotta be retarded to do it. To which TNA goes, really?
Yeah.
That's how you're gonna end on this moment? All right. So we just gave you a great evening of history. He pats himself on the back. We told you we were gonna give you a historic evening,
And we did it.
and we did it.
I tried to kill Jackie Fargo backstage.
Yeah. And then this is when, very clearly to me, the producers went, I don't know how to edit a show. Because we get segment 15, and we cut backstage to Jarrett arguing with Jackie Fargo and Toby Keith as ref and security holds all three of them apart. That just stops, and Jarrett walks out to ringside and goes, that match was crap.
Yeah, this is the part where I just sighed and was like, oh, of course we're ending the show on Jarrett.
Yeah. Jarrett asks each one of the legends, because apparently the legends were out ringside when the title match happened. I don't know about the whole Battle Royal.
Oh, okay.
But like after, I guess maybe they came out after the match. They were ringside.
Oh, were they doing that NWA? If it goes to a draw, like they're going to judge? And...
I don't know. Either if they explained it, I missed it. And if they explained it after it happened, I still missed it.
Yeah.
I don't know why
it was missed. But
so yeah, he comes out to the ringside right in front of the commentators and asks the legends, this is crap. Did you ever win a title in a battle royal? Did you ever win a title in a battle royal? And they all go, no, except for Bullet Bob Armstrong, who was clearly shaking his head yes. And Jarrett just does not ask him, walks right away from him.
No one cares about you, Bullet Bob. R.I.P.
So Armstrong pushes Jarrett so lightly that he doesn't even sway from the force. And Jarrett punches Bob Armstrong in the face.
Oh, he flies over the table, right? I remember that.
As well as Dory Funk Jr., who wasn't even bothering him.
Starts punching everyone.
And he walks away, but is confronted at the ramp by Jackie Fargo and Toby Keith, who backs him into the ring. And Fargo goes, look, I'm old, and he's a country music singer, but we'll find somebody to fight you next week. And Jarrett says, why next week? Let's do it right now. And then Jackie Fargo goes, Scott Hall! Scott Hall! Scott Hall!
Like he calls him out.
And Scott Hall comes running
that
out.
Was the plan. Scott now, get him.
And he comes running out, and the two brawl up the ramp until the end of the show. That last segment was 2 minutes and 32 seconds. Why was it on the show? Like, I guess it establishes next...
The weird part was of that whole segment that you kind of just grazed over was everyone was holding back Jackie Fargo and Toby Keith. Everyone was holding them back.
Right.
And then he does the whole Scott Hall. And Scott Hall comes running out.
Right.
Like we
No
have
problem.
We have 15 seconds left. Do it now. He said Scott Hall. Scott
Hall
Hall
just wrestle a match. Running out.
Scott Hall comes running out. And Jeff just runs right past all the security, past Jackie Fargo, past Toby Keith.
They let him go.
Starts fighting them, and Jackie Fargo and Toby Keith just kind of saunter off. Just let them fight.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. Like I said, seemed out of place. Seemed grossly out of place.
Yeah.
Seemed like it should have been on the next show.
But they tried to do like a closing segment, didn't they? Like it was over and it was on the commentators, and then Jeff Jarrett
and they
came
cut
out.
too. It was almost like well, that's the end of our show. Wait a minute, next time on TNA.
It's funny because when they went to that commentator's booth, because you saw Ed Ferrara in the beginning, and you saw him during the women's thing, and then you didn't see him again.
Yeah.
So they finally showed him again. I'm just like, oh, Ed Ferrara.
Every time.
Scared the shit
every time
out of
I
me.
see him, I'm like, what is
that I'm looking at? Is that a person?
Yeah. Okay. That was the show. Bell to bell to bell to bell to bell to bell to bell. Hour and 45 seconds of wrestling on this hour and 45-minute show.
An hour and what?
Hour and 45 seconds of wrestling.
Oh, okay.
On this hour and 45-minute show.
Yeah, total nonstop. That was another thing. They had how many matches? And what? There was a 4-minute match? 3.5-minute match?
Yeah, they were all...
2 minute match?
The opener was 6 minutes or something like that?
Yeah.
And that was the longest match.
Yeah, total nonstop action. And every
6:30.
time action starts, it stops within 2 minutes.
Right. They use a very loose definition of action in that there's something always going on. So long as you consider watching women dance something going on.
Well, I mean, who was it? Ed Ferrara in the beginning of the show? He was like, and who's ready for some TNA? Because that's what we got. And TNA doesn't necessarily stand for total nonstop action.
Yeah.
It stands for TNA. I was like, wait what? TNA stands for TNA? That's what it stands for?
Wait, if TNA is it's a device used to shorten words. So the T in TNA stands for TNA. What does the N in TNA stand for?
Oh, see, that's what I'm confused about.
All right, so we already kind of said it, but yeah, why would you book this card? Which is going to be the new why would you make this? Because I can't get inside the headspace of every fucking booker in the world. So, but why would you book this card? Like we already said it. This is a crowd tester card. It is 100% designed to give you a small dose of every wrestler as best you can and engage. That's why there's so many tag team matches.
Yeah.
That's why almost every match was a tag, because you needed to cram everybody in there.
Yep.
You needed to make sure everybody knew what was going on. You had to get their characters out there and let them know what was going on. So that when the next show happens, they're already familiar. And it works. Jarrett, heel, over. Hall, over. Jackie Fargo, over for some reason. Shamrock, over. The Dups, again, strangely over. Chris Harris, not over.
No.
Del Rios, disproportionately not over / go away. It told us what was happening. The Dicks, the Johnsons. I don't even know their fucking name. The Johnsons, definitely not over. And I will let you know right now that whatever you thought about the crowd, it's going to be the exact same for the next episode, but slightly worse because they filmed both of them on the same day in the same time span. Right through. So the next episode, crowd might be a little tired. Probably won't be because it's only an hour and a half, which totally 3 hours, but they might be like, all right, I've seen enough of you. Get out of here. So yes, the next episode is pay-per-view number 2, which is what they call it. They don't have names for it. It's just pay-per-view number 2.
Total nonstop action.
We already have the lingerie battle royal featuring various women. Or I guess technically featuring Francine and Elektra.
Yeah. And extras.
The My Kind versus Your Kind match. K-Crush versus Brian Christopher with Hermie Sadler and Sterling Martin. We also have Scott Hall with Toby Keith and Jackie Fargo versus Jeff Jarrett, presumably. They didn't make it official, but it seems like that's going to be a match.
Yeah.
It's also very likely that we will see James Mitchell and his new church, because they seem to be pretty high on the roster. And that's the Dups, because they're trying to get them over, obviously.
They had a promo in the back.
The NWA champion, Ken Shamrock, very likely to be seen.
He's a champ.
And possibly they'll continue with the plight of Puppet and his desire to have midgets start the show. Unless he drops it and moves on to something else.
Oh, and you're forgetting to mention my favorite part of the whole show.
Oh.
The most interesting part of the whole show to me. Use that word very liberally.
To you,
yeah.
What?
Was the Ryan Shamrock segment. I want to know what she's doing.
Oh, right. That hopefully that will come back.
I want to know what she's doing.
Well, that's the thing. Hopefully. I don't know that it will. It might not.
They piqued my interest in that. I want to know.
Right.
I don't want to see Jackie Fargo and Jeff Jarrett. That's not going to be interesting to me.
And then what else do we have?
thing.
Oh, and we also have those dark matches you're going to see. So.
Oh, lovely.
That's literally the whole card then. 5. Those 5 segments. Probably some.
Lots of filler.
Lots of filler there.
In between those promos.
Nice. So yeah, I guess main event of Scott Hall versus Jeff Jarrett next week.
Yeah, Jackie Fargo is definitely going to be involved. Oh no, is this going to be a tag though?
No. It's just going to be Scott Hall versus Jarrett, and Toby and Fargo are going to be in his corner.
Oh, okay.
They're just going to be standing there going, "Get him," and maybe pull a leg or something.
He needs 2 people in his corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
He needs 2 handlers.
Watch him not show up for the second day of the same day shooting.
Yeah,
he didn't show up. He was here. What do you mean he didn't show up? He was here.
He's already here. Okay, so if you enjoyed the show, please consider giving us some sort of like or 5-star review, or honestly, just share us with your friends. Because like the YouTube algorithms and all that stuff, they do weird stuff. You know what's better than that? You just sharing it with people you know. That's definitely going to get it out there.
Sharing is caring for us. They have it on YouTube. You can do a little watch along.
This one episode is on YouTube. I don't know if the other ones are.
No, but you can watch along on this one.
Okay.
For free.
Yeah. So of course, as always, as the other segments or as the other seasons have happened, the intro music is still "Falling Off Your Love" by Kill Paris, a slightly edited version. And again, please join us for the next episode, pay-per-view number 2. For Skylar, I am Jimmy Time. Please remember that without the mistakes of others, we'd be forced to endure the pain of failure ourselves. Support the arts. The preceding recording is for entertainment purposes only and the views expressed in this podcast do not necessarily represent the views of Why Would You Make This, its owners, employees, or associates.